your face just lit up with excitement there. It's like Santa's
Maybe
game.
I'll just. I like learning new things. Oh, we are live though. We are live.
We are
Hello,
live.
everybody. I've got. Well, it's because I'm in control. I was just so used to you like just kicking off and be like, "Hi, everyone, we're live." But I've just got this thing appeared on my screen. Let me just try and get rid of this. I'll just leave it there. I don't know how to get rid of it. I might log out by accident.
The Auchlossan's notifications coming up, is
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. No, it's trying to sell me computer games and I can't get rid of it. I don't know what to. But anyway, sorry. We are live. There's more important things.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another, I was going to say Blether there, but it's started off that way, a Blether. Welcome along to everyone online. We've got Dave, we've got Tim. Good evening, Blether, Mike, Kat, and Phil. Good evening, Dave, and the rest of the folks on tonight. Who else have we got? Petehead, good evening.
The name. I love that Tim's using our hashtag, our Blethering, our merch name. That's cool.
Absolutely. It'll catch on. It'll catch on, I'm sure.
Yeah,
good evening, Dave, watching on Facebook. Chris has just popped on. Good evening, Chris. Glad to see you joining us tonight. Be great to hear from you. First and foremost, what's in the glass, guys at home? Let us know what you're drinking tonight. Dave Faxon, are you still working? If not, what have you got? Maybe a wine. It's probably about wine time in the Dave house. What's in your glass, Kat?
Well, I was off at one of my favourite places today, so I decided.
You're not going to drink it in front of me, are you?
No, I didn't. No, I haven't got that one. So I'm gonna keep that one. So I've got just a go-to favourite. Oh, I can always get it the wrong way around, don't I? That one. So yeah, I was overseeing Gordon today, and I love that distillery, and I love that whiskey. So that's what's getting opened. But I do have a nice little sample that Gordon was kind enough to give me, but I'm not going to get that one out because. Well, I'm saving it for my birthday next week.
Yeah. 21 again.
I know, right? With interest.
I've got a wee sample of something we're going to be talking a lot about tonight, I'm sure. For those of you in the know of Lost Loch, they will recognise this little bottles that we get sample stock from. But I'm going to start off with a bottle I bought and cracked open last night. I just had, as you can see, a tiny little sip of it last night. And this is the Arden and Markin from the McLean and Bruce, the charity bottling, which was from Adelphi's last release. So full Oloroso sherry cask, 5 years old. So it's pretty damn good.
Like
I'm in an Oloroso sherry mood tonight, so we'll find out why very soon.
Oh, aren't you always in an Oloroso sherry kind of mood, though?
I can be swayed into Oloroso sherry quite easily, yeah. But I'm learning the finer points of bourbon cask. I think I've said this a few times. I can't remember if I said it on the Blether, but in my tasting, when we're talking about the more I love refill bourbon casks, in that you can almost taste where each part's coming from in spirit.
Yes.
So I'm getting veered towards, and don't get me wrong, I love things like Glencadam and the bourbon cask, and these kind of drams here. The Annex, Cask Strength Annex, Ardmore, love it. So I'm not adverse to bourbon, but
I tried a beautiful Annex in a bourbon cask today, and it's so nice. I need to show you my glass. Usually we look at your glass, but I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oh, no, you probably won't because it's like my lighting is so shit. It's like a old style Glengarry glass, and it's got Stanley P. Morrison on the bottom of it, and it's called the Glengarry. I found them on. Yeah, I didn't know. I would imagine when the rebrand happened, I suppose, in 2006, I'd imagine. But yeah, I found them on eBay. So I got a pair of them. How cute is that? I love it.
Awesome. We've got everything on an Octave Buddha Haben, 2014, obviously from Duncan Taylor. Yum, yum, indeed. who's David Muir's on the White Heather. Epic. Wow. Is that the 15 or the 21? Dave, you have to let us know. Starbucks latte for Rick Johnson tonight.
Nice.
That makes me think you're out and about, Rick. Where are you watching us from?
Well, that's cool. I like that we are transportable. And then we've got Dave Fackerson's on the Glengarry 12 as well. So awesome choice. I'm assuming that's what GG is.
Yeah, Glenn Glasser, I think he's.
Nah. Wouldn't have thought so.
Awesome. Tim Powell's is on the Thompson Brother North Highland. How is it? He said nice dram. I've been keen to try Thompson Brother or more Thompson Brothers. I haven't quite got around to it yet.
What's the one that they've got out and it's like the Tesco value label?
The blend, yeah. It's I haven't done much research. I've seen it everywhere, but they're a company that I really want to get to know more. I haven't had the Blether with you and not too long ago. We're going to be seeing a lot more of you as well very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
David's not on call.
And he's not on call. Not Batman tonight.
Not Batman. We better get a guest in. That's 6 minutes in, and we're like, Phil's probably gone away and
sitting, waiting patiently. Well, last week we were filling in time because our guest got up and left while we were waiting to introduce him, but he went off to get some water. But Phil is still there, so we will get him on. And I'm in charge tonight, so give me 2 seconds because you're going to have to keep reminding me that I've got to do these things. Here we go. Here's Phil.
Evening. How's it going?
Not bad at all. How are you?
Good. Looking forward to this.
Good stuff. It's great to have you on. Kat mentioned to the guys last week that we had a cancellation, and we kind of looked through people who we had lined up for. We're going to be taking a summer break, so we had a wee look through and thought, you know what, we've just got Auchlossan back in the shop, so we think for the guys at home, and I know a lot of people who come into the shop who maybe have a cask sitting and they've no idea what they're going to do with it. They bought it and they're like, well, I might sell it, I might give it to the son, I might bottle it, I don't know yet. And I thought, what a great opportunity for somebody who's just done one of those options to talk us through. You all right? Are you still there?
Yeah, you kind of froze there for a second, Mike. Your voice.
I'm here. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we're both still here. I think you dipped out for a second. Are you still there?
I am. I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, we're all here. We're all here.
Cool. Where did I get to?
I think you were asking Phil about the process, or you were talking about how when people come into the shop, they're talking about investing in a cask, and how you thought it'd be a good idea to get someone on.
And kind of just have a chat about it, because obviously it's not just as easy as buying some glass and putting the whiskey into it. It'd be great if it was. I'm sure it's a lot longer process.
That would be handy, but yeah, definitely not. It's definitely a steep learning curve for this fish farm that we've done. But yeah, it's exciting. It's good. It gives you the bug for more. So
awesome. Sounds intriguing. So before we talk about what you've done, is there more than to go?
Not yet, no. I think we'll let this one run its full course, and then there's quite a few things in the background discussion with a couple of my mates and stuff that we just need to sort out to make it maybe fully ours rather than doing a joint kind of venture like we did with Lost Loch.
Okay, that's good. I think maybe some of the guys are struggling with your. Dave's saying that you're a bit blurry, Mike, and that your internet's maybe buffering a bit. I can see you fine and hear you fine, but I'm not sure if the guys at home can.
It's probably Dave's eyes that are blurry. It's not me.
Well, I'm just glad it's not my internet for once. But I'm sure it'll catch up with itself. It's just these school holidays and all these kids using up internet, I think.
I'm on my hotspot, so it should be all right.
Well, if you freeze, then we'll just keep talking until you reappear. Just don't sit still for too long. Just keep moving every now and again so we know that you're not frozen, please. It's always really awkward when you've been talking to somebody and not realised that they're actually just frozen. You're like, oh shit, I probably missed all of that. The wonders
So,
of technology.
Phil, what's in your glass tonight? What are you joining us with?
I am just killing off the last of my Lindor's distillery cask, the cognac. So I was just bottle killing that one because I was up there a couple of weeks ago. And I'm not a massive cognac fan of the cask, but that one's kind of turned me a little bit. It's really good.
Awesome.
Did you do a tour of the distillery? Is that the first time you've been?
Yeah, it's the first time I've been. Yeah.
I'd love to go and see it. It looks awesome.
So it was my boy's first distillery tour as well. So
I've seen the photos. Yeah.
Getting in just before his 7th birthday in a couple of months. So that's him already on the tours.
That's fantastic. My kids won't come with me anymore. They get so bored. They're like, not another distillery. Mom, I'm like, it's educational. It's chemistry. It's it's history. It's everything rolled into one.
He was just delighted with his Iron Brew and the tasting glass and the caramel wafer at the end. He was.
Oh, that's cute.
Amazing. Oh, cool.
That's
treating him well.
Yeah. It's a great tour. Good tour.
I need to go for a wee look. So
I visited, but I just love how they could have went total Walt Disney on it, but they've kept it quite true to the roots, and they've kept the a large focus is on the abbey as well and the monks.
Yeah. The distillery exclusives and the stuff that they've got there is normally the price is kept at a decent level as well. It's not really going there, but I know they will be stocking there. They will be stopping the Akavit in September of this year, and they won't produce it anymore, and they'll just be going solely on whiskey.
All right, okay, that's an interesting choice because I thought the Akavit gave people who maybe weren't whiskey drinkers a kind of an option to drink something.
They've got Iron Brew and a caramel wafer.
What it was. Can't go wrong with that, really.
Driving pack.
Did you see their distillery cats? Because there's me and there's them on the internet. They are the actual genuine distillery cats. They've got their own Instagram page. They've got Vespers, and the cats are called Vespers, and John Core is the other one. But,
that would do.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? But yeah, they've got their own. So I've got competition, and their pictures are actually a bit better than mine, to be honest, because they're actually cats. Here he comes. Hello.
Don't push buttons. Last time you push buttons, you make cat's face really big.
He did, and I don't need that sort of negativity happening. Is it bedtime?
Mummy's just the way to get his milk.
Oh.
Right, definitely not escape. Don't press escape. If you guys just want to talk amongst yourself, I'm going to try and restrict my child's movements for a second before he goes to bed.
You need to tell me all about what you have just released, because I still haven't tried it, and I'm sorry to say that I don't actually know a lot about it. So you're going to have to talk me through what you've released, the name and the picture, please, on the bottle. Give me the full story.
So, picture on the bottle. Big hairy coo, shaggy coo. So, it's a 10-year-old Milton Duff. For just over 9 years in a bourbon barrel. Then it was moved to first fill Auchlossan sherry for 14 months before being bottled, just so the sherry wouldn't take over it too much. We did a joint venture with Auchlossan from the cask that we bought. And the story behind the label, we changed the label a bit. Go with like the Swiss, the kind of mountain dogs, they come with a little cask and they save you. So I thought, let's try and make something Scottish like that. And then, right, Highland cow, taking a whiskey barrel. So one of my mates, Danny, would start drawing up pictures, like barrels hanging off the horns here, there, and doing all sorts of different things until we got the idea of the one just round the neck. And we've got, because Milton Duff has stuff to do with Macbeth and stuff as well. So we've got the Macbeth, that's the shape of the Macbeth stone, just up not far from you as well. There's ties with Milton Duff and Macbeth around that area. D-side's got a lot of castles in it. I spent a lot of time growing up at my grandfather's around Lochingar Distillery. He lived next door and he was a cooper there, and upside Balmoral Castle where my family worked. So got a bit of the castles in there. And Auchlossan, the name, is actually the name of the lock that used to be across in the field where the Lost Loch Distillery is. There, in school. Used to be a massive lock there that was really good for fishing and things like that back in the 1800s, but in about the 1860s, 1859s, the lairds took the lock away and drained it for agricultural purposes, and that's why Lost Loch is called Lost Loch. So that's like the story behind the whiskey and the label. The story behind the rest of it's just it was me and two other friends. We decided that we'd just buy a cask. We didn't know what we were going to do with it. We didn't know what type of cask we were going to get, so we kind of picked something that was what we thought was, to us, it was an original cask, and who we thought was a good company to go with. We ended up having quite a lot of problems with that company with sending out samples. It was sending out sister cask samples. So they weren't sending our cask samples. They told that our cask was somewhere, but it wasn't actually where it was. They'd lost it. They didn't know where it was. And then they said, oh, it's here at this distillery. We're getting it stored here. So we had quite a little bit of problems with that. And we did talk with some other people's down in Wales about doing a joint venture and releasing something. Good guys, still speak to them a lot, great guys, but things just didn't seem to work out. I think it was more of just the way it was split. We would have to do everything but have their name on it in different bits and pieces. So it wasn't quite working out what we were kind of needing, because at that stage we weren't fully ready for the financial input of getting the full bottle and going, because all the hidden costs behind bottling a bottle of whiskey is quite a lot of different costs in there. So my brother-in-law sometimes DJs up at Lost Loch when they have their Lost Loch nights and they have their little food and drinks nights. So I travelled up and I was there that weekend, and he introduced me to Pete at Lost Loch. He goes, "You two like whiskey, you'll get on." So me and Pete just went and had a dram. I told him about all the problems I was having with the cast moving about and how this other people weren't quite working out to do a joint venture. And me and Pete having a couple of times. Pete's like, "I'll do it with you. Let's do it. Let's go 50-50. Let's do it." He goes, "Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you pick the cask. Tell me what I want. We'll sort it and we'll bottle it and we'll do it and we'll get this process going." So from being like 2-3 years of having this cask and letting it mature, and then eventually going through all these problems with other people and cask getting lost by that company, not knowing where it was, getting the wrong samples. We got to Pete. He said, "Let's do it. We'll go for it. We'll sort it out." So we just quickly flipped on that cask from that other cask company. We put it back up for sale, because I had no confidence in them, even though they're a Edinburgh-based company and things like that. But everything's headquarters in Singapore, which I knew more. Like I knew now, I probably would go somebody that's fully based in Scotland, because I think that just adds to it, because they're not really, their market is, I mean, maybe Edinburgh based and started in Edinburgh, but they're out in Singapore, in the Middle East. That is their big base, where people are just buying Scottish casks, and they don't have to really do very much from it. And then I actually got speaking to the guys from Glasgow, Julian, Pete, and Julian Pump, and they said, "Oh, we've got some casks. We can help out and do something if you're struggling." So one of my mates had some savings left over, and he's like, "Let's go for it." We found the Milton Duff from the guys down there, at Damn Good Drams, or Damn Good Casks. Went in, took the Milton Duff, and the boys down there, they were instantly on it. They got the cask. We got it sent up to Lost Loch to get it taken down, watered down, cast put down to our strength that we wanted it with D-side water, because we wanted to keep that D-side connection in with just Lost Loch, and all three of us lads that are in behind it, me and two mates, are all northeast born and bred. Me and my mate are a boy, and my other mate's just outside Aberdeen up here way, keep it headway. So we just want to keep everything kind of northeast, get it up there and done. But yeah, it's been about 3 or so years from first buying a cask, and 2 years of mistakes and learning things and chasing things, and it's now I know definitely now I'll know like where to go with it, because there's so many different costs and things that you should be getting sent that you don't really know about, like your delivery orders, and it's really worthwhile looking into. And if somebody's like the guys with Danbury Grams, they're really, really good. They're their own bottlers as well, but they deal with cask brokers as well. So, they know exactly what they need to do to go to bottling, because they want to do that themselves.
Yeah.
Which I think really helped the smoothness in the end of it, and how we got to here. Because if it wasn't for Pete coming in saying, let's go for it, let's go halves and just get a joint venture done, and the guys at Danbury Cask going, we've got a cask that you like. You gave us flavors and what you wanted. Here's what we've got. Pick one. And they were just swiftly on it to help and move. And they were like, anything else we can do? And Pete was like, let's do this. And we almost accidentally got delivered their Burnside cask that they not long released. Because they were trying to give that cask to Pete. Well, our cask was sitting next to it. He's like, no, the numbers match. And he's like, no, it's this one. He's like, no, that says Burnside on it. This is a Milton Duff. And he's like, I'll take the Burnside. he's just like, I'll take it. Like, if you want. We almost got that cask. So that's the type of casks they take in. They take in stuff that they want to bottle themselves. Which I think if you're looking to buy a cask or do something with it and bottle it for like a family event, birthday, or maybe even try and go independently on your own, like somebody of that kind of thing is quite good, because they're actually passionate about what they do, and they don't want something that they're in charge of that they can't bottle themselves. Yep. So it's always going to be quite good and reasonable prices, and they will help you out, and they will communicate constantly. Because that first class, I had no communication. It was constantly every week. What's happening is this? Where's my sample? Where's the cask? You said it was in your warehouse. Now you're telling me your warehouse is not built yet. You've put it into somewhere else. You found it at this distillery. Right, can I get a sample of that? What's in it? And it was just, even when we came back to re-gauge at the end.
You're sort of describing what most people's fears are, I think, when it comes to investment in casks and those sort of problems.
Good thing at the end of it, when they actually re-gauged it, see how much was in it, when they finally found it and took it to where it should be, was it had more whiskey in it than what they thought it had in it when they sold it to me.
Oh, really?
So we've now got a cask that we've actually, instead of evaporating, we've gained. So
maybe the cask above it was leaking and it just
dripped in, Yeah, so I've been with me and my two mates have been through the fears of everything you think about what could go wrong possibly in buying a cask. And it's not over yet, because I'm still chasing them how it's going for selling, and I've signed an agreement to say, right, let's go, let's get rid of it. I'm not going to. I haven't told them I'm not going to use them again. I'm saying I'm focusing on other things, and I'll use the money for maybe a couple of other casks. But it's still really slow, so I won't be going near that company again.
I mean, it says a lot about you and your mates that you still went ahead with the idea, with the dream of getting a cask into bottling after the issues that you've had, to be able to say, well, we haven't been put off completely. That's one bad egg. And I guess speaking to guys like Peter, he's like a kid in the sweet shop sometimes. He's such an infectious passion for it. And you need somebody like that, but then backs up with the knowledge and the know-how to guide you as well. Because there's a lot of paperwork involved, and people can get that can bog down the dreams sometimes, can't it? When you think
and I'm so lucky with Pete coming in on that, because he took that away after seeing everything we've gone through in the mixes. He took that away from us, and he constantly would email me back and forth about what's paperwork's done, what's this done, what's happening. But he took that burden away and he dealt with that, which was really good for us. Yeah. So I'll have to get him to teach me for next time.
It sounds like a massive learning process, and I guess if it's something you've not done before, you don't even know, like as you said, you don't know if you've forgotten to do something because you don't even know that exists until somebody tells you you've forgotten to do it. I mean, I guess, I suppose, Mike, you've gone through something similar, releasing, like your kind of gin.
Yeah, the difference I guess we have is we have the brand and we have a customer base kind of almost already there. So we know if we put something out there, people are going to want it. We build, I hope to think that we build a bit of trust in bar DSR, that people, it's completely different. And we already have kind of credit with bottlers and stuff where we could say, well, we'll pay a certain amount, whereas you guys kind of had to buy the cask and get all that up front and commit there. We have got that little bit of buffer. I think it's easier for a company to do it than a group of friends who think, hey, this is a bit of a probably started off a bit of a pipe dream, but let's see it through and let's get it. And then what did it feel like when you seen for the first time that label on the bottle and filled up and it coming out of the bottling hall?
I went up to see Pete when it was happening, and it was amazing, especially after the 6 weeks of trying to get the label passed through all the regulations, and they kept picking little nitpicky bits out. That's not right. Maybe this should be this. Maybe that should be that. I'm like, they had to keep changing bits of the lettering and move fonts around, and they were just being quite nitpicky. Whereas sometimes Pete says they just go through, so it just depends. But yeah, it was awesome. It was really good to see. And then we just went out and started delivering. Well, I think I went into Strongwater, then Aberdeen Whisky Shop on the Saturday. And then I came see you on the Sunday. Mm-hmm. So it was exciting. We got all very excited. And then all of a sudden, we're like, oh, well, we're just going to deliver some then. And we're just like, yep, okay, let's go. Threw them in the cars and we're just driving about. It was good fun. It was a really exciting day. It was just after everything, to see something that you thought would never ever happen, that's actually there. It's just, I couldn't be more pleased with the dram, the label, how it's turned out. It's quite surreal.
It must be. It's walking into a shop and just seeing your bottle sitting there must just be pretty awesome. How did you? So you said you started in a bourbon cask, move over to the sherry. Did you make that choice? Were you sampling it? Did you decide that, or was that a set idea in your head that that's what we want to do?
I've got many of ideas in my head for what to do with a whiskey. I've got some crazy ideas in my head. I was sampling, and then I'm not the biggest sherry fan, but I love some of maybe the punchier ones every now and then, and I really quite liked the time that this one was in the cask. And being a first fill and being in for 14 months, I was thinking it was going to be much, much darker and a lot heavier than what it is. So it quite surprised me, and the way I tasted it when I sampled it. And I was like, that's something that I want as well, something new, something different, something that might be slightly surprising that you wouldn't expect from something like that. Because if you think first fill Auchlossan sherry, 14 months, you think probably going to be a little bit dark. It's going to be a bit spicy, a bit punchy. But this kind of thing, I just like the way it worked for me. I went for it, and it was there at the time, at the right time. Mm-hmm. It was just, I was like, right, this is working. And I was like, me and one of the mates were having a conversation, like, are we doing it? He's like, oh, should we do it? He's like, I'll transfer the money, and then we can just, well, we'll do it. And I was like, I don't know. It's up to you. Do you want to do it? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, I've transferred with it. We're doing it. And I was like, right, we're doing it. Right. I'll get on the phone and the emails then.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, I guess it's already in a cask, and you've got to make that investment in another cask to move it over into as well. I mean, that's...
Yeah, so that was kind of already done, because we were looking at doing something different with the original cask that we had. But then that was just there, and it just seemed right. And I said, we don't have to do anything. It's ready to go. We could actually do this year like planned, or we're going to have to maybe wait a good bit longer, because from the start of it, we maybe planned around about this time to maybe bottle, and we didn't know if we were going to do a private bottle just for ourselves and family and friends, or whether we were going to go out to everybody. So we weren't quite sure.
It's pretty cool to have that sort of responsibility as well. You know, you've got this baby and you've got to decide like what you do, like how to nurture it to get it the way you want it to be. I think I'd want to do something crazy. I'd be like, oh my god, let's just shove it in a Pinot Noir cask, and then let's go and shove it in. I'd go mad with the power, I think. I think it would just be too much responsibility for me. Actually, no, we all know what I would do. I'd keep it in a refill bourbon cask forever and not share with anybody is what I would do.
And once you have that cask and it's sitting there in that refill bourbon, then you're like, how can I be different? What can I do? Then you just start.
Yeah, the cogs start turning.
Yeah.
Although I'm always surprised when I speak to people and they say that they've bought a cask, you know, of a brand. So they'll say, I've got a cask of Ardnamurchan, or I've got a cask of whatever. I always say, oh my God, what sort of cask is it sitting in? And they go, oh, I don't know. Don't know. I'm like, how do you not know? That will be one of the first questions, surely. But is it easy? How easy the process of accessing that information? You know, are you told distillation dates? Are you told cask? Are you told location?
You're told what it's been put in, how many original litres of alcohol's in the cask, what strength it's been put in, and what age it is. So you're told exactly what it's in.
Okay. And did you set out with Milton Duff as the one that you really wanted, or was that just the one that kind of came along with it?
That was the one that just came along at the time. And we started out with a Tom and Tool. I did start changing my mind a little bit later on about the Tom and Tool. I do like a Tom and Tool. It's a very easy, nice, gentle dram. But I thought, is it too easy? Is it too, like, would I have to do something completely different? Because the amount of different releases and finishes that you see from Tom and Tool and the sister distillery Glencadam, you know, they've got such a range and such a price range. I was like, can I do something out with or different with that? Can I make something hit hard in the one of them? And you've got such a wide range and such a solid, really, range from them, I would say.
I guess with the Tom and Tool, the backing you've got is that it's such an easy spirit to play with.
Yes.
And you can hardly go. I mean, they prove themselves, as you say, what a variety they have out there, and everyone, in my opinion, just about everyone works. So yeah. I think it's not an easy choice, but it would be easy to make good whiskey out of it.
Yeah, it would be. I would maybe say it would be slightly the easier choice because it's such a solid whiskey that's versatile that you could do a lot with. And it's quite an easy drink. I don't think no matter what you do with a Tom Tool, you could drink it, have it, it'll go, it'll be away. It's good, lovely, enjoy that, and go on. So yeah, I'm glad that this one came along at the time. I think my two mates are as well. I think they're happy with it.
How much did you keep for yourself? Did you stash away a few bottles for yourselves?
We actually only took a couple of bottles each. We actually only took a couple of bottles each, and then I took a few out to go and put away for giving out loads of samples to different people, and I did a couple of Instagram competitions giving bottles away, and just try to put samples out there just so people could have it and try it and taste it. But I've also got a full-time job. This is not my job. This is just something that we've all done out within our working hours. Well, I say out within my working hours, and maybe I did some of it while I was at work.
Watch it.
No, who cares?
I hope you're not a brain surgeon. I'd rather you were concentrating on that than, answering emails. Like a game of Operation.
Just reformatting somebody's brain. You will buy 6 cases of milk.
Yeah, and here you go. You just bought 6 more.
Yeah. We'll put a shout out on the chat of buying bottles. Thank you, Dave. Dave just bought a bottle from our website, so he's going to be picking up Dave Ferguson. So thank you very much. Andy Stott is watching. Andy is the manager of the cask.
I know Andy. All right, Andy.
So he put a wee teary face on, saying you didn't come and see him when you were delivering your whiskey. I'm not sure if they were open when you were delivering.
No, he wasn't. I think I was heading back down because I'm so busy when I come back up to D-side. All my family's there, and like all her family's pretty much up there now as well. So when we come back, it's just finding time to go and see everybody and do everything. Randy did ask me to go in, and I just didn't have the time. I think Aberdeen asked me to go in as well, but I was too much running about, and then I was coming back, dude. But I'm back up next week if I can find the time this time, Andy. I might even pop across and just come and say hello. Just say I've gone out for a drive.
I went in to see Andy on Saturday? It's a lovely little shop. I kind of found it by accident. I wanted to go and see the big boats. And then I was like, oh, whiskey shop. And my kids were like, there's no way you've accidentally found this whiskey shop. So I think I left them sitting outside for, they say an hour, but I'm thinking it was about half an hour potentially. But it's a lovely place.
It looks, I haven't got a chance to see that myself. It looks, I like how some of your recent posts, Andy, have been from the outside. Yeah. Because it is quite hidden away, isn't it? It's just in the corner of a street. It doesn't look like a retail
I thought
shop or a whiskey shop. Inside
it's like a house. Yeah, but the door just looks like somebody's front door. Like I was like, is this actually the whiskey shop? I was like, I thought I was going to walk in somebody's front room. No, they weren't stolen by seagulls, Andy. And I realized I'd left them outside for ages, my kids. And Andy's like, the food being stolen by seagulls. And I was like, yeah, maybe. I was like, no, maybe though. They're big over here. But they weren't stolen by seagulls. Well, it's a listed building. That's interesting. Nice. The buildings down there at the waterfront are beautiful. You can see like sort of the history of like the sort of the fishing industry down there. The rest of the time is shit. Well, not really. Not really.
Just a disclaimer there: the Blether doesn't endorse the views of the hosts.
It's not at all. I really want to go to the prison museum. I hear good things about that, but it's also we're up against it in the Aberdeenshire Visitor Attraction Awards things. So,
are you?
Yeah, they're our competition, but I'd love to go see it.
Tony and I went during lockdown. And it's a really nice place, really interesting place. The stories. I came home with a couple of books on it as well. I'm not sure. Andy might point us in the right direction. I think they closed a cafe recently. They were struggling with the staff and that, but I might be wrong. But no, guys, if you're local and you're in the Northeast or you're visiting the Northeast, I would definitely say worth a visit because it's a brilliant place and quite recent history as well. With the riots and stuff. It's there's a lot of people who I know you talk to and remember it being on the telly, and it's not often you have something so nationwide on your doorstep.
Yeah, I'll need to go for a look. I went past the sign going in, so I know where it is, so it's quite easy to get to. But yeah, definitely get the kids along and go and have a look at that.
The front door doesn't look like somebody's house.
No, it didn't. That one didn't look like somebody's house.
Oh, Andy's saying his new missus is the manager as of August. The cafe, the coffee shop is opening again, I think. And Andy's missus is the new manager. Well, that's awesome. Great. I'm glad to hear she's in a much better place than a couple of weeks ago when you were in hospital with her.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes, of course. Yeah, glad to see that she's on the mend.
Does that also mean that you might be able to get a nip in the cafe if she's doing that, Andy?
License, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Technically, she would be
Definitely.
his competition, though, if they did that. That wouldn't be great, would it?
Not
If
trying
they
to
had
buy
a
from
license.
him. Not trying to buy from him.
Well, bring your own bottle to the prison cafe. Maybe that's how the original riot started.
You could have a riot night. Just get lots of like Nerf guns and the foam bat and things.
That's an awesome idea. You could, yes, that'd be great. Have a birthday party and just taking loads of nerve. It's probably endorsing all sorts of the wrong messages, though, really. But
Oh, yeah.
that's quite a good
Yeah,
idea.
it'd be fun while it lasted, wouldn't it? Like
See, every week we
laser
come up with
Fraser or something like that.
a great idea.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Anyway, yes, that was
Um,
it's a lovely shop, and it was nice to see you, Andy.
What I'll do, Andy, I'm going over to Lost Loch tomorrow or Saturday, so I can pick up a case. I'll take it back for you, and I'll only charge you, about a tenner a bottle.
For
Shipping
haulage.
fee would be, yeah.
You know what you could do is you could drop off that tire that you got from Woodrow's as well on the way and get rid of that.
Get rid of that.
Do you still have it?
Still got the tire. I have no idea what to do with it. It's still wrapped up in brown tape.
I think Woody and Megan should have that on their new merch. I've seen their beautiful new jumpers and things that they're
Yeah, you
on
should
their
brand
socials.
it.
They should have Napish with a picture of a tire on it as well.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it branded with Woodrow's and have it in the bar upstairs. I'm going to frame it and hang it up on the wall.
Make it into a bar stool, but obviously all the way up so that your bum doesn't fall into the hole, but you'd have to have it.
Yeah. You need a fair size arse to go into that.
Well, it's like, it's what it's all about, the big arse now. Look at Kim Kardashian. Everyone loves a big arse. So does that mean merchandise is on the way as well, Phil? Are you sticking with if you do another one, would you be sticking with the Highland Coo theme with the whiskey barrel? Have you given any thought to that? Is it
Yeah, I probably would, because I've already got a few ideas in my head of keeping it the same and similar, but making subtle changes to maybe show what the influence of the cask is on the whiskey.
Cool.
So I think I'll if we do another one, I think we will keep it, because I don't know if we can get rid of it now.
it's a really cool design. You could do like the Highland Coo through the season, so the Highland Coo stood in the winter, and a Highland like Loch Lee, kind of like seasonal changes to your Highland Coo.
Yeah. So it was great work. The guy that actually took our ideas from my mate's drawings and our ideas, Steve Turner, Berserk Arc on Instagram. Yeah, he must have hated me for a couple of months, because he agreed to do it for just all he wanted was a couple of bottles, because he had done the label. You know what I mean? He just wanted a bottle to keep and a bottle to drink. That's what he wanted, and he was happy to do that, which is absolutely amazing, considering some prices that people can pay for the labeling and getting it done. And he was just, I was nitpicking at him like every other week. Can we change this? Can we put that in? Can we change this? Can we move this here? Can we move that there? Oh, by the way, they're not happy. The authority are not happy. This needs to move here. That needs to move there. Like, can we do this? But yeah, he was sounding really easygoing, and he does some really classic, funky, like comic style drawings and stuff on his page and things that he does. Yeah, so he was fantastic. He was so fast, so quick, and just was happy just to do it.
It's a nice kind of plug for him as well, to have that brand. What was his Instagram? I think he did tell me, but what was his
Berserk Art?
Berserk Art. I'm going to look that up right now.
Yes, Steve Turner.
You'll get at least 2 new followers tonight off the back of that.
I think I did, but the first time he told me, I did follow him. So hopefully he gets more than that. So Berserk spelled Beserk Art.
No, he's going Z, hasn't he?
Oh, he's going Z. They Americanized it. That's what he's done.
Oh, I haven't got a Z.
Bezerkartwerk. Berserk work.
Oh yes, Steve Turner. Oh wow, that's really cool. Oh, Mike, he should do our merch. That's awesome. Well, I'll give him a follow. That's really cool. And there's your bottle. Oh, nice. I need to come and buy a bottle. I definitely need to come and buy one.
Yeah, so he's done some of the stuff for Malt Mates as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's cool.
That's how I got to know him, because that's one of the original paths that was spoken about between me and Sion and Malt Mates, that we might do something. But we never got to that stage, and we both went our own ways because we had slightly different ideas. So we both went our different ways and carried on.
It's surely a good way of testing a friendship as well, doing something as stressful as that. I guess maybe have you all got were you all quite whiskey enthusiasts, or?
Yeah, all whiskey enthusiasts, and Time at Malt Mates already had volume 1 ready to go, I think, and this was going to be volume 2 we were talking about that me and him was going to do. But it just didn't work out the way that both of us, I think, were different stables. Like, they were in a different financial bit that they were needed to do because they've just finished their first one, which now I really understand with just getting this done. You know, I think, right, okay, he wasn't quite ready for that. He was waiting for everything else to come in so he can move on. I was ready to try and push on to get him to come in, but it wasn't quite the right time. But everything kind of happened. You know, that's when I ended up meeting Pete at a night out at Lost Loch, and he decided just. I didn't think it was really going to much happen. You know what I mean? It was just two of us sitting there having a beer and a dram and having a chat about whiskey, and I was just telling him like verbal diarrhea, and we were like, "Oh, this was happening. I was trying to do this. I was wanting to do this," and he's like, "I'll help you. Let's do it. I'll go halves. I'll put in whatever you put in, and I'll help you and your mates, and let's do it to get your first one out." This
Awesome.
Sweet. So, yeah,
ideas happen in the pub or happen over a drink. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was such a good person to get on side, and it just tied in the northeast stuff more to us. And yeah, it wouldn't really happen too much without Pete and Lost Loch. They just accommodated everything. They were fantastic.
So you officially classed as an independent bottler now, then, or are you like a?
No, not officially. That is what I'll have to work at on the next stage. This is the decision that I don't know. Pete's already asked me if I'm doing another one, but I don't know if he means, are we doing another one, or me and my friends going to do another one? And that's the road I'm going to have to take, because there's quite a few things that we're going to have to do if we're doing it and we're not going with Lost Loch again and doing a venture again. So if we're going to do it, yeah, there's quite a few things we've got to sort out so we can be an independent bottler.
Sure.
To be fully on our own.
It'd be fun though, wouldn't it? If you were.
Yeah, it would be really fun. It's just the madness. You kind of miss the madness after it's gone, and you see it. It's kind of it's a bit surreal. It's a bit subdued, and then you're thinking, wait, you know. So I get the idea of it. It's. Mm-hmm. I suppose that's why you've got so many independent bottlers nowadays.
Oh, I know. I wonder how many there are. We should compile a list. They're always in the back of the whiskey. I always forget the name of the book. What's Ingvar's book called?
The yearbook.
The yearbook.
The yearbook.
List, doesn't he?
Yeah. There was a new map published, whiskey map published today. 151 working distilleries is on it, but it doesn't mention indie bottlers. And I guess it must be hard because they're not just Scott. I mean, you could do a UK based one, but you've got indie bottlers all over the world.
Yeah,
a lot in Germany, a lot in Poland.
A lot of them in Leith. A lot of these new independent bottlers seem to be coming out of Leith. It's like they kind of Leith regaining its heritage a little bit.
Certainly is. Yeah.
Edinburgh was a bit of a struggle trying to get a bottle in there. That was a hard fight.
Was it?
Yeah, I kind of gave up in Edinburgh. I've kept it northeast, and then I'll need to go back to a couple of places down here in Dumbarton and Glasgow because I've spoken to a few of them, and they're quite interesting. But I've kept it all northeast so far.
Yeah, I thought with the Highland Cow and the Castle, that Edinburgh would have loved that kind of tourist. Because a lot of their kind of
I don't know if the right people were on at the right time when I was going to speak to people. It was quite a little bit of a hard fight.
I can imagine it's an area where every independent bottler and the dog are trying to get into.
Yeah.
As well. So.
And then somebody unknown that nobody knows, never heard of, never seen. Quite a chance to take. But if they want to miss out, that's up to them.
Exactly, they're losers, not us.
Exactly.
I love the idea of just walking around with like a leather suitcase full of your bottles of whiskey, like in the old days. Like when they're trying to flog Lafroig in America and selling it as like a cure-all. Yeah. You just open doors.
It's far wrong. It's just little backpack, clink, 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 clink.
That's awesome, though. Because you obviously have a good way of presenting it, talking about it. If you're walking into a shop and saying, "Look what I did! It's got a cow in it." A lot of people would just be like, "Yeah, well done." But you've obviously got a way of presenting it that people appreciate.
That's what sold it to me. That got me hooked. Yeah,
I think
cow on it.
Yeah, just the story behind me and my two mates just thinking of an idea and then going through it, and then just the story as well. There's a story behind the label and stuff that we've put into it that's personal to us that we thought suited it and what we wanted. So there's little bits in that detail that is actually something.
But you've done it in such a way that it looks good and people can resonate, whether it's resonating with your story or their own story. It's done in a way that, because you can get lost in that, or we'll do little in jokes and nobody it can get really confusing for people. Like, well, why the hell is there a stone there? It means absolutely nothing. If it meant something to you guys, but the northeast of Scotland is famous for its Pictish stone.
Well, yeah. If you look closely, I don't know if you'll be able to see. If you look closely at the stone, it actually does have like Pictish drawings on it.
Is it the Pictish beast, isn't it?
It's got the up at the top, and then some of the bits wavy down at the bottom.
Yeah,
it's got the Pictish scrolls in it as well.
Yeah. It's resonating northeast. But I think you mentioned to me, I was looking after Killing when you went through the label design with Cat. But is that the Macbeth stone? It's
the shape of the Macbeth stone.
Yeah, but it could be to anyone else looking at it, doesn't know specifically. Still resonate that with the northeast and the Pictish kind of heritage we have. So when it's an in joke to you, it also resonates to a wider audience. Is kind of what I'm trying to get at. Which is cool. In a way, it's still
Macbeth and Glenfarne Peel Ring and everything. He was taken down up and fights the Peel Ring and then taken down down past where Loch would have been, and the Auchlossan Loch would have been at that time because the Loch would have been there, and down back through Kincardinale and stuff. So it's a little bit of history there. And then Highland Cow, it's Highland Cow Scotland, but Balmoral used to have quite a few Highland cows. I spent a lot of time with Balmoral. And the shape of the castle kind of maybe resents Balmoral slightly. If you look at it, it's kind of, so there's little things in there.
So I didn't know that most Highland coos are red because Queen Victoria thought they were the prettiest colour.
Yeah, they're originally black. Yeah. Black's natural colour, because that was more appeasing. Yeah, they bred it into
redheads are much more appealing. Let's just say. But that's mad that just because the Queen was like, I like the red ones better. I was like, right, get rid of the black ones. Come on.
They bred, and so it's called a Kylo. The black ones were Kylo.
Kylo,
the breed. And there are still, I think they're coming back a wee bit more.
They are. There's a few coming back. I've just got another idea now. Label things popping in my head. I'm thinking about.
The dun coloured, you get like the dun coloured ones as well, like the blondie coloured ones, because the farm we used to look after they were ling cattle, and every now and again, so they're part short, part Highland. And every now and again, like the sort of yellowy dun colour would come through, and that's off the back of you get white ones.
Yeah.
Cat as well, and Julie Frozen there.
Cat doing the trick, or just
she's doing a head of cow impression just now. She's she's gonna hate me when she watches that back. So for the guys at home who are watching, and this has been a little seed in the back of their head, I've got a cask, or I would love to buy a cask. What would be the kind of one big bit of advice you would say to them?
Research. Definitely do all your research. You know what I mean? Ask people in shops like yourself, and ask distilleries. Quite often, getting from distillery straight out the back is better than where you're getting it from some year. And check whether you're going to have 5 years bond or 10-year bond, or what the price of that warehousing is after that bonding, because then you have to pay your warehouse storage and insurance prices and stuff after that. So you get a certain amount of years. Some places, if you buy a fresh cask, it'll be 10 years. And that'll be it. Or if you buy a 7-year-old cask from there, they might be only given that bond until 10 years, so you've only got 3 years. And then you'll start after paying your warehouse insurance fees on that as well for storage. It's just researching, and just ask whiskey shops, ask the distilleries, and research into it. I think going straight to distillery if they sell it is probably one of the safest bets. For you getting a cask, because you know the cask is there.
Yeah.
You know it's at that distillery. You know it's from that distillery. You can go and see
a buyback as well, don't they?
Yeah, and you can go and see that cask. You know, you can arrange. Can I come and see my cask? Like they do down at Glengoyne. You know, they've got a big cupboard full of all the cask owners and their samples.
Yeah,
that they put in every year, and the cask owner could come and try their samples as they're going through and come and see their cask, like most distilleries will probably do for cask owners. I think that is a good one for owning a cask. Then it's depending, you know, would that distillery bottle it for you? Because we did have a cask at a distillery. They were going to bottle it for us, but our label options were severely limited, and we'd only get about, you know, half the size of a Post-it note, maybe a little bit bigger, was all we were allowed to put something onto, and everything else had to be theirs.
Really?
So we were limited in design. So it all depends what you want to do. You could have it at a distillery, but then you've got to think about moving it out of a bonded warehouse and paying for that cask, move it to somewhere else. Is that other place a bonded warehouse? If it's not, you won't be able to store it there. You're going to have to bottle it straight away. Then that's when all your duty tax comes in, and your fees of all your tax, and your duty VAT, and your duty VAT comes in, because you're going to have to bottle it because it's got nowhere to stay in a bonded warehouse. And it's there's a lot of variables, and because we weren't quite sure what we were going to do or when we were going to do it, we kind of just was all a bit mixed out, and learned heavily. But we were lucky with the people that we found. We were lucky that Pete and Lost Loch, we were lucky we met them, because they were just straight in. They couldn't hold the cask, but they could hold it for a little while, then bottle it for like a couple of weeks, a month or two, but they can't mature anything up there, because they haven't got the proper license for that. They've got the license and bottling license, but they don't have a bonded warehouse licensing, because that's two different licenses.
As Kat said earlier on, these are the kind of things that you don't learn until you've either said, well, let's do that, and then you learn the repercussions after it, don't you?
Yeah, we learned the hard way, but we were never going to do it the easy way. It's especially not mine and my mate Danny's way. I don't know, my mate Kev. I think he's on the chat actually.
Kev's watching on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen Kev on there. Yeah. I don't know if he would like an easier way, but then to be fair, Kev and Danny kind of just left me a little bit to my madness, and then just kept fed me. I kept fed them information. Then we just kept having chats and things, but they just kind of let me run away a little bit, and then just kind of pulled me back in, and we had a little chat and said, right, well, we're going to do this, or so we work quite well together. My mate Danny's just, well, he'll just go with whatever flow. He's happy. Yeah, we're lucky to Pete, because they sorted out that bottle inside, and the guys at Glasgow, they were fantastic for sourcing the cask and having a cask for us that they sorted out so quickly, got it sent up really fast, and just was, it was compared to what we had over the last couple of years of getting the wrong samples and waiting ages for samples, and kept having message, can we get samples of our cask, please? We want to taste it. We want to know when we do it, because we might be re-racking it. Yeah, the Lashley boys was on another level. They were so quick and fast and really good.
That's it, because you've got a cask that's sitting at kind of 10, 11 years old. You know, that's relatively long term for a cask, for whiskey to be in. And you've no idea if that's good or if it's starting to over oak, or if you're starting to lose that distillery flavour. Does it need back in? Is it leaking? Is it, is it evaporating? How much is left? And there's a lot of brokers kind of, I think, almost play on that and say, well, this is your waiting time, 6 weeks on a good day. And if there's a delay, then there's nothing they can do about it.
Which I'm still finding with that broker now, waiting for that sales of that cask. It's,
But the scary thing is, there'll be people out there who've bought a cask with the intention of reselling it, bottling it, handing it down, whatever it is. And they just get fed up dealing with the brokers, and they don't know where to turn to next. They've bought it because they've read the hype, they've had an advert pop up on Facebook, or heard all the good news stories and advertising, and said, I'm going to buy a cask. And if I spend $2,500 on it now, I'm going to get 25 grand back in 10 years' time. And then they get a certificate through the post saying, you've got a cask. Like, right. But what do I do now? Where's, the brokers, not them all. There are legit brokers out there who love whiskey and they're in it for the right reasons. The secondary, the third, the fourth, the Facebook ads that pop up, who never owned a cask in their life, have come across a cask list and decided that they're going to sell it. And they're banking on people getting frustrated and walking away saying, dud investment, I'm going to walk away now. Or, forgetting about it, not having the right insurance, passing it on to the son, and it just gets lost in paperwork. There's so much, and I'm so glad that you guys, for the second cap, for the Milton Duff, persevered and got into the bottle. But it must be frustrating having this other cask sitting there that
just waiting for it to them to sell it, and just to get it gone and then getting the money back. So we maybe could possibly do something else or look at starting something else. Maybe getting something slightly younger.
Are there any regulations around it? Like, this whole industry is obviously growing very rapidly, brokers, and you hear so many horror stories. Is there actually any, or do you guys know if there's any actual regulations or like kind of bodying or governing kind of these brokers springing up and offering people things like this? Because if they're not, I feel like there should be. There seems to be more horror stories than there are success stories, or maybe you only hear the horror stories, of course, I guess, maybe, but it seems like there's a lot of...
I think they are getting tighter now. I think from that lockdown period is where this kind of thing kind of exploded, where everybody suddenly got into like buying whiskey, selling whiskey in secondary markets, buying casks, selling casks. I think it quite blew up at that point. And I think they might be getting tighter on it, but I couldn't tell you. But I know this is the company. The first company I went was a big, legitimate, good company, and they've got lots of great stories. But I know 3 people that have dealt with them. 2 of us have left and don't want, and one of them said she pushed hard for her bottles to do stuff, and they did well for her and listened to her, but she's a German lawyer, so she's quite so, and she did tell me you just have to be, because I met up with them when they came across, and we had a little independent bottler kind of meet up at the Malt Society in Glasgow, which was quite good. We all talked about all their different kind of problems and what we had, and what things could make it easier or better. And she was saying with the company same company that she did it, that she had to be on them, and she was very tough and hard on them to get
maybe
things.
Maybe that's what you need. You just need to make your own kind of little wee trade union of people that have bought casks, so that you've got that power, and you have those people that would just.
There was a kind of self-appointed governing body. I think they're called is it the Cask Whisky Cask Association or the Cask Whisky Association?
Yeah, there was one.
But it was made up of whiskey brokers. So
Oh.
That's right, yeah. Because there was a big thing after that when people found out who they actually were and realised that they owned brokers as well.
Yeah.
That they were, how can you
There was
validate
a
everything
pushback
else?
against from like independent bottlers. Were like, well, who are you to tell us? We have to sign up to your rules and things. And it kind of blew up, it flared up, but it died away pretty quickly. And it kind of fell out of the news pretty quickly. So I'm not sure where the stance is on it, but I get, like you say, Kat, there must be something there to regulate who can say what and who can sell what. And I think that was the bones of this association, but the fact that it was made up of kind of the 2 or 3 biggest brokers in the country kind of it just left a little bit of a sour taste in the mouth of some of the other guys who were fair trading and doing it the right way. Like, who are you to tell us we have to sign up to your way? And also, I think a lot of it got shut down by the advertising standards. Started, cutting out a lot of the Facebook ads who were coming up saying, "Oh, you can," because a lot of the advertising, a lot of the facts and figures that they were spinning out was on bottles, not casks. Like, you will make 500% more on your whiskey. So that is going on one bottle sale rather than a current cask sale. There's a great piece actually about it in this latest edition of Cask and Still. So if you get
ask if you could keep me one of those. Do you have any in the shop?
We have got some in the shop. Yes.
Can you keep me one, please?
Yeah, there's a really interesting piece on the investment in avoiding scams, avoiding that.
You can keep 2. I'll pick one up next Wednesday when I go to Fennel for my lunch.
I will do that. I will. You have to buy a bottle to get one, though. Remember.
That's fine.
You got any of that new stuff, that Auchlossan or whatever it is? I heard it's new.
I tell you what, I do actually. You pronounce it very well. Not normally folk can't get it right the first time.
I miss not getting my copy of it because obviously I'm not at the shop that much anymore. And I saw that there was a new one out because we had one of the writers on. Remember, I think it was the first Blether back from Christmas holidays, I suppose it was. And I see she's got another article in there, so I thought, I need to go in.
Christiani.
No. It's terrible. just shut you down there. No, that's not her name.
She's got an article in this month's, this quarter. I think it's every quarter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Andy, I'll give you a shout afterwards, and I guess you just write to them or email them and ask to get some additions. It's free to customers. It's free to people walking in. But it comes out every quarter. It's for a year. And it's really interesting. Quite a nice wee piece. Nice to see Rick has officially opened a dram. He's watching on YouTube. It's past noon in California, so opened a Deanston Virgin Oak. Nice. I do like Deanston Virgin Oak. I think I haven't tried the cask strength one that's just been released in the last month or so, but I do look forward to trying that. Let me know, Rick, if it's a cask strength or if it's the 46.
Federica. That's who it is. When you said Christiana, I was like, maybe I've got my 2 people confused and it was Christiana's, but no, I'm sure Federica's got another article there. It doesn't matter anyway. I'll come and get the magazine. Oh, it's also free online. Didn't know that. You can check it out online too. Thanks, Rick. Didn't know that. I don't like reading stuff online though. It's just like work. I like paper things.
What I loved when the delivery comes in of the Cask and Still is you can tell it's just freshly printed because the smell it just smells like new paper. Such a gorgeous smell.
It is.
You don't get that, and you get online magazines that when you click, it makes the leaf turning noise. That, and you're just like, oh no, it's just not the same.
You need to get the screen to like spray out book smell while it's doing the noise as well. It's just not. No, it's not going to be the same effect. Definitely.
Remember Scratch and Sniff? That should go on to like online whiskey tastes and stuff.
I think this has come up in the Blether before because I think somebody told us that there was a whiskey company that tried that with online tastings or something. Or this has definitely come up with Blether before. Do you remember we were going to go back and we were going to try and watch every single one and write down every bit of nonsense that came out and every random idea? I might have to do that on my week off and just pinpoint where they all came from. But
It's
I'm
a
sure.
long haul because it's you have to filter through a lot of good stuff to find the nonsense, really.
Do you know, all the nonsense comes full circle. We're like a Billy Connolly joke. It seems like nonsense at the time, but it always comes back to the original point. So,
Yeah, it does.
eventually.
Andy on Facebook, Andy Stott is drinking a Karen Head's Inver Gordon 14-year-old. I imagine that's pretty decent stuff. Love Karen Heads. They do some really good stuff. And Tobias, hello Tobias, also watching on Facebook. Finally have time to watch the Blether again. Good to have you on, mate. It's great to see you. I hope you're enjoying life. And you were over in Scotland not that long ago, I think, if I followed your Facebook right.
That's pretty cool. Nice to have you back.
Tobias in Islay at the Islay Whisky Academy back in 2019. Great to have him back watching.
We've got our
catch up on some of these comments here. I haven't been paying attention to the right hand side of my screen at all. I'm just like,
it goes so fast.
It does, and then everybody starts chatting to each other, which is nice.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm normally at that side. I'm normally sticking the chats in.
Yeah.
Which is very weird.
It felt if it was. So fast forward 2 years, you're a well-established independent bottler. If you could bottle any from any distillery, who would you like to get your hands on?
I would have to go purely sentimental and get a cask from the mid-80s to the mid-90s that my granda made at Lochnagar.
That would be awesome. You never see Royal Lochnagar released independently, though, do you? I don't think I've ever seen one.
Not often. I don't think they would. But if I could, I'd go pure sentimental for that, and might finish it in like a rum-peated cask or something.
Oh wow, that would be because Royal Lochnagar are always in refill sherry, aren't they? Like they don't release anything else.
Yeah, that and bourbon. Yeah, they're very, very mild, smooth, mellow.
Yeah, that would be exciting.
Yeah,
the label could be like Prince Charles dressed up like a pirate. That would be amazing. Riding a Highland cow.
Riding a Highland cow, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's King Charles now, not Prince Charles.
Oh, I know. I keep forgetting that he's moved up. It's like retraining your brain. Your whole life you called him Prince Charles, and now he's got a different title. He was a prince when I knew him. So yeah, he'll always be a prince to me. Until he changes my name to Lady Catherine, he'll be Prince Charles.
Yeah. They've already got one of them though.
Lady Catherine.
Yeah.
I know, but yeah, it's such a posh name. I feel like I should be Lady Catherine because, why not? I feel like I should be moving up rank. That'd be an awesome release though. So yeah, Lochnagar in a rum cask. That would be very, very interesting.
What about yourselves? What would you do? What would you pick?
Oh.
I think everyone knows what mine would be. I mean, I would buy the whole distillery, Ardmore. But I have done a shop exclusive Ardmore, so I don't know if I had to pick. I would love to get Rassay in my cask. I would love to do a Rassay, I think.
Rassay's good.
Yeah.
I would have a small cask of Rassay, but we sold it back.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. One of the little 30-litre ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't normally buy them back, and they normally just bottle them and put them out. But because we're just in the middle of doing this, I was like, and I was quite lucky. The guy I was speaking to up there as well, he was a Fraser, so he's like, oh, so your last name's Fraser? He's like, oh, all right, I'm a Fraser too, so I'll help you out. We're like, we don't normally do this. But we'll give you back what you paid for it. We'll sort it out for you.
Was it?
Yeah. I was like, no worries, Scott. He's like, sound. He's like, do you know this, Fraser? And I was like, yes, actually, funnily enough. Because there was Mike Fraser, used to be at Bodarco.
Oh yeah.
So I know Mike and I speak to Mike as well. We are just it's like a wee Fraser gathering, you know.
Yeah. We've had him on the Blether before.
Yeah,
Clan
He
Fraser.
was with Barrack Row before.
yeah. He's now at Black
He's
Isle
not there
Brewery.
anymore.
No, he's at Black Isle Brewery, I think now.
Oh,
He was Tomatin originally, wasn't he? He was a tour guide at
I
Tomatin.
think he was there originally, yeah, and then he went to them, and he was the one that took out their first 3. He did all the stuff for the Tuscan oak, the cask strength, the port, the Madeira, and then he left after that. Yeah,
He was with Barrack Row when we had him on. It was Russell and I think. Really nice guy.
yeah, because I met him with him. He was, I met him with a couple of shows and stuff, and but I think he'd had a baby, and I think he was struggling like with all the travel and having the wee one last time I spoke to him. So maybe he just wanted something with less.
I just want to put a shout out to everyone who's watching.
Hopefully he's doing well.
Tobias has invited us all over at his house for a party in Germany.
Nice.
So that sounds cool. Everyone on the Blether is invited along. What he actually said is he misses the Tartan Army in Germany. We were the best fans and supporters, but I take that as an open invitation to go round to his house and drink all his whiskey.
You said, if I suddenly
go.
win the lottery, what distillery would I buy? Why would I buy a distillery where I can create my own and all my crazy ideas could come together?
Like your own Willy Wonka distillery, that would be...
Yeah, just do something small like Daft Mill or something, just a wee seasonal one. Give yourself 6 months to play about with stuff and do it and then release every 6 months or so. You know, have a wee small limited batch, you know what I mean? Just have a wee warehouse of maybe 50 casks or something and just do wee small turnouts.
The Port Ellen, do they not put in like lots of different stills to do experimental stuff as well? So they could just do like a normal run of whiskey and then do like loads of crazy experimental stuff. That'd be quite good, wouldn't it?
And they've done it
kind of
by Morgan as well.
Well, that's cool.
Loch Lomond.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a lot of fuss running it. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, they do. But, yeah, I like the idea of having just a little distillery that you could play around with. Like a sort of seasonal releases and stuff. That would be quite good fun. Dean Jones is a bit of a silly Wonka. Did you mean Bully Wonka? I think, is that a typo?
No.
It sounds like the biggest... What a silly Wonka.
If that's a typo, that's the best typo
ever. Jamie isn't on this week. He would have been cracking some puns back at Andy, I bet you, within seconds. You know what Dean's like with his little puns back. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad the typo was in the silly and not the Wonka. That's
That's a brilliant typo. Oh, I've just seen Tobias's comment. Royal Lady Catherine of Loch Nagar does sound very nice. Tobias, you are up there on the top of my favourite people list. That is something to achieve, definitely. Much nicer than Silly Wonka. I'm going to start calling people that. Do you know what? You're a total Silly Wonka. Because it's not swearing, but you totally know what people mean.
I don't think it's an insult, I think it's a compliment.
Yeah, Andy's definitely tried a little sample.
I would be kidding.
Cask, I think. Dean's Infinity Cask is definitely Willy Wonka style. It's wild.
And he is a master of flavor creation, I think is his title. It's awesome guy.
Well, yeah, it's head of creations or something, isn't it? Or I don't know. It's got a wonderful Harry Potter.
Whiskey creation.
That's an amazing.
I think we mentioned Dean's title in every Blether, and we still haven't got it right.
I think we do, and we still never remember it. And I'm pretty sure he comes on a couple of times and retells us it. And we're like, yeah, no, we're not going to remember that again.
Yeah. No, we're not. Where's the fun in remembering details?
I know, because we could just call him a silly Wonka by looks of things. Like that could maybe be his his new title.
Can't remember something? Google it. You don't need a memory anymore.
No, that's very, very true.
It's scarily true.
I know. What did we do before Google? You had to go to the library and look it up in a book.
Paper Google, called an encyclopedia.
Yeah. Although I don't think Dean Jones' job title will be in the encyclopedia either. I think you would have had to just wait until your mum wasn't using the phone and then just phone him to ask what his job title was. When we're making ourselves very old. Do you know, we are very old because before you came on the chat, Mike, I was literally saying to Phil, I really like your sideboard. He's like, oh, thanks. I just had the room done, but he's got a really nice sideboard.
It's pretty fun. Yeah.
It is.
I was trying to decide if it was a sideboard or a painting or shelves, but I could see the handle over your right shoulder.
Yeah. That's where some gin mixers are. And then there's some gin down there, and then the wine cupboard's over. That's the wine cupboard.
Oh, lovely. I think, never mind Tobias's house. Let's go around Phil's house.
Yeah.
You're all settled there.
And then I showed Kat earlier, and then there's my little whiskey cupboard down there.
That's awesome, isn't it? Barrel cupboard. Very nice. Do you still get those globes that you open out and people put their drinks inside do you remember those?
No, that's yeah. I think you do.
That's where he stores his miniatures. And
So that's where all the samples are.
I know. I need to do something with all my little miniatures. I've got them in like a little knitting basket underneath my coffee table. And I was showing my dad today. He's like, "Oh, yeah, that's a cute little basket." I was like, "Yeah, look at this." And it was just all full of little samples. But I need to just do something with them all because you think, "Oh, that was really nice of that person to give me that. I'm going to save it for a special occasion." And then you just kind of don't. You just kind of forget.
Push back by more samples.
I know. I'll have to do like a sample night. Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to do a Blether where everybody rakes through all their little samples they've got. Because I'm sure all of us have got little bottles and samples sitting. And we all just need to have a sample night.
We'll do that for a Christmas night in.
Yeah, we'll do that. What are you pairing with your beer and whiskey there, Phil? Have you got a bag of peanuts?
No, it's dark chocolate coffee beans. It's actually quite a good palate cleanser for me.
Oh,
Coffee
nice.
and chocolate actually work really well to just clear it out before I go into a different nip.
That's quite cool. I've never crunched a coffee bean before. What's the next dram? I'll wait till you finish your coffee beans.
While I was finishing, I just poured. We're talking about samples, and I found this little one, which is an 8-year-old Muddy McDavid Space Ciders vatting. But as I was pouring it, I noticed just on the side here, I've written in pen OP 17-year-old. So I think I've just poured an Old Paltney 17-year-old. And I'm using the Muddy McDavid was the handiest bottle on the side. So
Rick has mentioned that Dean's job title is Head of Whisky Creation. So yeah, we now know officially.
Whisky creation, not flavour creation.
Yes. And Callum's saying dark chocolate coffee beans. You've changed, Phil.
Definitely not changed, Callum. I just eat different things now. I can say the same to him.
We had Callum out with a group from Austria out of the shop on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think he was in past Glengarry as well, but I was off.
Yeah,
he was. And
because
you guys almost made me late for my dad's birthday because you held them back for so long.
I wasn't on at the weekend, so I'm not taking any responsibility for that.
I just you guys.
I just booked him in. Maybe Callum was late.
Yeah, no, it was all good. They're a great bunch, great group of guys and girls. There was it was almost 50-50. I think the guys slightly edged it, but great to see. Really interested, really good bunch. They said Glengarry was a bit, it was all right. I think was the consensus of the group.
I think it was probably the accent and you just misunderstood.
Yeah, Callum's never like a wizard.
No, you're always very punctual, Callum. I'm sure it was completely to do with them having such a wonderful time at Glengarry, they didn't want to leave. They're like, whiskey shop? What whiskey shop? Don't care.
It was the handfuls. The handfuls took the time, I think.
Oh, well, do you know, because the rum is very, very low. So we're down to the last, well, maybe I should know it. Last 30 bottles of the rum cask. So it's getting very, very hard to get it out of the barrel.
And how do you get
So if
a
you
rum
want-
bottle, Kat? How do you get that? Where do you have to go for that?
You have to go to Glengarry. If you want one, you're going to have to come soon because we are emptying the cask. So, yeah, you'll have to come to the shop and get one because, yeah, it's now, I think it's in the process of being pre-bottled now because it's very, very hard to get it out of the barrel.
Could you
It's
not have
taking
done
a
that
lot.
last week? Because then they would have saved a hell of a lot of time and then we were on time for my taste.
We didn't have anybody to do it for us. I can't perform miracles, Michael. But it'd be a shame to see them go. It's been a fab dram, so it'll be a shame to see that one go. But when one empties, another one comes along. So look out for something coming soon. There you go, Phil. You'll have to do that one next. Do a Glengarry.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about it. I come up next Tuesday for 2 weeks. I've got quite a few things going on, but I was trying to see if I could fit a day in. I'll just nip across to Glengarry.
Oh, I'm on annual leave next week. Make it the week after.
The week after? I could do the week after, I think. I go. I'm up on Tuesday. I've got my birthday on Wednesday. I'm out meeting Nick and Brian and everybody from Aberdeen on Thursday.
You are, because we have a joint birthday, do we not? Your birthday's on the
24th.
24th. Or no, I'm the 2 days after. We had this conversation, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
I forgot about that.
When was
Yes,
that?
you are up.
After you were at Old Meldrum
Can't
House
remember.
Hotel where you had the pictures of the golf course. And then
Yes, that's right. Our gazebo blew away. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're about the week after, coming back, we are still live. We can probably
That's why you guys make plans. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm about the week after. I don't think I leave for my brother-in-law's.
I'll be here.
till Wednesday. So yeah, I'll be about. I'll give you a shout. I'll let you know.
Yeah, you know how to find me.
Yeah.
Well, though everybody's on silent season now because even like I was over seeing Gordon Day at Knockdhu, and of course I was forgetting it's silent season. But sometimes it's nice to go and see a distillery at silent season because you can just kind of rake around and kind of see behind things and see into things. So it's always quite interesting to see behind the scenes during silent season.
Mm-hmm.
I think most distilleries will be on silent season just now. Really, they're all usually about the same. It's like our trades fortnight, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Most of them are.
Phil, we never got to hear what your next dram was.
Oh, I'm just. I was hovering between my own one and a Glen Scotia, but I went for the double cask Glen Scotia.
Nice.
Very nice.
We had Callum Renton on right to start, who I meant to say hello to, but chat prevented me. And he said they were going to be teetotal tonight, but we convinced him to open at Glen Scotia. And that was at 7:09. So we took, considering we were our traditional couple of minutes late, we took them about 6 minutes to convince that they were going to open a new Glen Scotia. So Callum, if you're still watching, it's only taken an hour and a half for Phil to open Glen Scotia.
I've seen loads of pictures from Kilkerran did like an anniversary.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
It did, and had like Travis playing live and all sorts of stuff. I think Aberdeen Whisky Shop were over there, and Paul Dempsey was over there. Loads of people.
Yeah, there was loads of people over there.
I didn't get an invite, but whatever.
Yeah. Going back to that last question, if I couldn't build my own distillery, if I won the lottery, Kilkerran would definitely be one I'd buy.
Yeah. Campbellton is really exciting.
Love a Kilkerran. I'll take a Kilkerran over a Springbank any day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've got any. I don't think I've got any.
Oh, see, in all honesty, I would probably take Glen Scotia over them both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love like Glen Scotia as well.
They've got the
I think
cutest. There you go.
just in terms of the quality of spirit, I think it's outstanding. Ian McAllister doing a fantastic job. I get the appeal of Springbank certainly because it's limited and people clamour for it. Brilliant whiskey, and they still, credit to them, they're still putting it out, the core range, at a price people can buy and enjoy. But you look for it on the auction market, it's not hitting retail. It's still going for the core range, the 10 and the 50. It's I get the hype. I see why there's a hype. I see why people love it. But for me, Glen Scotia, in terms of just the quality of the spirit, is better.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we're all different.
I know there's that place for all, but it's got like so much charm. Both distilleries are lovely because I love that they're just like old school. You know, you're literally like kind of climbing over the peak to get onto the next part of the tour, and you know it's just kind of a bit dirty and a bit kind of hands on, and like really cool places. But so far away, like bloody Campbellton is so far away to get to. But it's exciting to see all the new things happening down there.
It's tough to find somewhere further away on the mainland, to be honest.
I know. It is, to be honest. It's worth it when you get there. But
Ardmurchan or Neen's quite a.
well, that's a good point. Yeah. That's why they're so special. You've got to literally do a pilgrimage to get there, but it's worth it when you do.
Yeah.
I've got a bottle of Springbank sitting here. My friend was over at Springbank and she brought me one back. It might be my next one. I just need to find it.
We've got a couple of comments on the
cask strength one.
Hmm?
That looks like the 12 cask strength, is it, with the label?
It is, yes. That's what I've got.
Love it.
I'd be interested to see what you think of that, actually.
What do you like? Why? That's quite a loaded comment.
Yeah.
Just because I had it for the first time the other day.
Ah, okay.
Is that the latest one?
Yes, it is. So she was down there. She took a photograph of it and said, "Oh, have you had that one before?" So I was like, "No, like get me that one and I'll give it a try." But yeah, we'll get that one. I've still got some whiskey in my glass. I'll have to wait till I'm finished.
Because I was in the Piper Whisky Bar last Wednesday after our works day in Glasgow. And that was on, so I haven't had it yet, or I haven't managed to get a bottle of that one yet. I was like, right, I'm definitely having a dram of that to try it, to see what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give it a go. We've got I forgot David's from Campbellton as well. So Chris, he's our Campbellton expert. He's a Campbellton loon.
Yeah, and he's put we've had a couple of comments on the Glen Scotia team. David Williams, son of Lauren, as well, has said on YouTube. Evening David, I agree. I would take Glen Scotia over Springbank. It's his favourite whiskey at the moment. I love that comment. That means so much to people, that at the moment, because it could change. You could discover a new whiskey in a couple of days and think, "Oh my god, this is amazing." Certainly, whiskey is an in the moment kind of dram, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by Ed Friday, who was watching on YouTube. He's just told us, "I live." I'm not sure what to make of that. I mean, I'm delighted that you live. Have you just recreated yourself as Frankenstein's monster, or?
I'm alive. Well, we're glad to see that you are alive and well. Oh, so Rick, bottle kill Glengarry on the shelf behind you. Oh, is it the slopey one, like the sort of diagonal one? So that's actually, if it's that one, then that's a light. It's got like fairy lights in it, and you can turn it on, but I don't have a socket, so I can't turn it on. But I think if that's what you're talking about, it's just a 12-year-old with some fairy lights in it on a little stand. Unless there's another one up there. If it's not that one, tell me. But I think, the slopey one. Okay, it's just an empty bottle with some fairy lights in. It was a birthday present for last year. Nothing that exciting. I don't keep empty bottles on the shelf, although I should, because it might make it look a little more impressive. I should just fill them with cold tea.
Yeah. Who's saying don't keep empty bottles on the shelf? Did you say that?
I was going to say maybe I should keep some empty bottles on the shelf just so it looks a bit more impressive. But
all my empty bottles from recent Blethers are down here. I've got 1, 2. And Darren, where did I drink? But I don't know.
I don't think I've seen you drinking that one on a Blether. I don't have any empty bottles. It's my problem. I'd never finish them.
Banality. Oloroso Founders Cask of Auchlossan.
Are you going to keep them for? Are you going to do something with them, or have you just not been to the bottle bank yet?
You know what? When I finish them, I've got a little cubby hole just behind me here, and I just put them down. It's always my intention at the end of a Blether to take it downstairs to throw in the recycling bin, but I am very bad at doing that. I've probably got more empty bottles in this room than I do full bottles. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a good thing because it shows that you're a drinker, not a keeper. Not a drinker as in like a sort of there's a problem, just an appreciator.
9 empty bottles. None of these are. Oh god, that could be doing with an empty one.
David's saying, I wish I could get money back on empties. Maybe Mike can give me a few full ones in exchange. Like when you used to get your 20p back for your haze lemonade. Maybe that's what we need to do, just a sort of like a refill service. You just come back to the shop and get your whiskey refilled.
They used to do that. They used to back in the day. When Dave was young.
Like when the wee Bonaccord van used to come out with the open back and you had the crates and put all your fizzy juice bottles back in it.
Yeah,
but even further back than that, was it not? I think Gladstone was Prime Minister or Chancellor. 1852 Act. He pushed through glass bottles of a regular size. I'm sure it was Gladstone. And it was an act that came out that said that you had to buy, because there was no way of controlling the size of, because people were just walking in with their own vessels and pouring it like they do in France with wine, but it happened in whiskey. And I'm sure it was him that pushed through and said we need a regular size bottle so we can control duty and control tax and all that. And I'm not sure if I told the story before. Again, I need to go back and read. I'm going to have a list of stories on the blackboard behind the screen of things I've told. But why we have the 700ml bottle size?
I think you have, but I don't. You have told the story, but I don't know if it was to me in the shop or if it was on the Blether. But you should tell it again.
It was so around this time they were looking for a regular size bottle, and they told one of the excise men to go around all the glass blowers in London and say to them to blow, in one breath, blow a bottle. And the average of all the glass blowers in London was 700ml. So that's what they agreed that was the bottle size. I'm sure that's 1850s, 1860s. So that's why we have glass bottles, and that's why you buy them at 700ml. It's a tax thing. If course it's a tax thing.
Good job. None of them had it. Would have been half bottles. It would have been if they all had like sort of emphysema or like farmer's lung, it would have been much smaller whiskey bottles we had nowadays. Good job they all had good healthy lungs.
Maybe they all smoked and didn't have healthy lungs, and we could have been walking away with 1.5 litre bottles of whiskey.
That's an interesting fact.
Is it about 6 litres of air or something your lungs can hold?
Yeah, could be brilliant, isn't it? Imagine that.
All for the same price as it is now, then it'd be quite fine.
But when the price of duty per bottle comes out, that's it doesn't matter what size of bottle it is.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a story. Friends got married at a local wedding venue, and they did corkage. So what they do is whenever you open the bottle, you put your cork in, and then they counted the bottle corks at the end, and or the waiting staff opened the corks, and they counted all the corks at the end, and that was what they charged you corkage. So Andy was like, so it's just the corks that count? Yeah, absolutely. So they went and bought, instead of like your standard bottles of the champagne and prosecco, they bought like demijohns and like great big bottles of it. So they said, "Well, there's your one cork," and there's nothing they could do about it. They got absolutely hoodwinked. Brilliant. It was like 3 bottles for the price of 1.
That's a good way around it.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
I wonder
Right.
if the government will do that with whiskey. Just do a corkage. We pay tax on the corkage rather than the alcohol. That'd be-
Yeah.
Ryan H is not feeling the best. He's having an early night.
Oh,
Thanks for joining, Ryan. Much appreciated.
yeah. Thank you. We've got this cold that's going around. It's been so many people have been ill with it. I had it last week. It's horrible. It's like it's meant to be July and everyone's got all these horrible
sniffles.
colds. But I know it's been crap.
I got some wash and dried yesterday. We did have a nice day yesterday. Quite stuffed
love how-
himself.
I love how rock and roll our chat's got to. Well, I got the wash out. Changed the beds. Haven't got the white wash done yet, but here's hoping.
You're lucky to get a day, get the washing out on the West Coast.
I know. Although, like, I think today or yesterday looked like it was nicer in the west than it was here, but it just seems to be everywhere. Like the weather is just July's just broken. It's just shit. Kat, did you have a cold for the last 2 years? Like, I don't think so. Why? Have you had the cold for the last 2 years? Maybe. You have to quantify that comment before I can answer that. Is it because I've got like a real nose, or because like my banter is just shit? And the only way it could be, it must just be the cold.
You maybe had the cold the last time we saw you. Just thinking.
Maybe it's because I've got children and they just spread diseases. But everyone's got the cold just now. It's like nobody's escaping it this time. It's just rife. It's like COVID, but less fun.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Phil, I just want to kind of wrap. I know you've given us some time for us this evening, and we're very appreciative of it. Where can people, if people aren't buying online, where can they walk into a shop just now and get your?
Well, there's obviously yours. They can walk into yours, get a bottle. If you catch Lost Loch open, when they're doing stuff, you can walk in and you can buy bottles from them.
The boy.
The boy in Des, yeah. I'm not sure if yes, Andy, I'm getting to you. Don't worry, I'll say anything.
He was doing it in alphabetical order, Andy.
I'm doing it from Inverurie, Boyne to Banky to Aberdeen to you, okay? Look, I think Benj at Strachan's still has a few left. I don't know if he's still got some in the Boyne and Balliter shop, but I think he still had a couple left. Strong Watercombe Banky did have 1 or 2 left, but I don't know if they went and got more. They did ask me to get if they could get more, and I put them on to Pete. Callum might know because Callum often works in there every now and then as well.
Yeah.
Aberdeen, Nick still has a few left, and one of the best places, if you haven't been, really quaint, beautiful place just down by the harbour. It doesn't really look like a whiskey shop. It's very homely front door that you walk into, an amazing place. And Peter Heed. Go see a lovely man called Andy, or go there and you do it in his day off.
I've met a guy called Andy from Peterhead. I wouldn't say he's a lovely guy, though.
And he hardly ever mentions the whiskey shop that he works for.
No, he's never said that either. Must give him a call or meet up with him and have a chat sometime.
I'll need to
We
get
do
my...
appreciate you joining us, Andy. It's great that you come on and catch up. And we say it so much that the guys in the whiskey production side of it and the ambassadorial side are good friends and they always get on. But it's the same in the retail. We always know, it's always good to have a laugh. And the chances are that we're going to, meet up in the same places and stuff. So it's always nice to be amicable and friendly and stuff.
Definitely.
The amount of times that we have somebody... Sorry, Phil.
Sorry, on you go. You can finish, sorry.
I was just going to say, the amount of times that we maybe have run out of a bottle, and it's like, oh, well, you might be able to get it in Peterhead or Aberdeen or some of the local stuff places, and vice versa. So, and you know that favour comes back around. You know, it's a pay it forward kind of idea.
Something definitely that I've found out when we've gone through this, and the different people that I've met and spoken to help us to get where we are, and just little bits of advice here and there, and like you guys as well, taking on a chance and getting some bottles in. It's fantastic. I haven't had anybody that's really been badly down on us. I've had a few people comment on the Instagram when the bottle was released saying, "How did you get away with that label? We were told we weren't like this, that. But we had to do this, but your label does that." But they weren't as in bad. They were just like, "How did you get away with that?" And then we kind of explained away. And then I was like, "Well, I went through it about 4, 5, 6 times to get to that stage to change it." Oh, they told us we weren't allowed to do that. We had to do this. And it just shows you it depends who you get on the day.
Yeah.
What they
and how they interpret the rules, isn't it?
And how they interpret the rules, yeah.
It's a little bit like VAR.
The label sounds like it's been one of the most stressful parts of the whole process.
It was a bit annoying, but we didn't have to move too much about. We had to change things which really didn't make sense because things were still clear view. Like I think it had like single malt down here and rather than single malt up here because they said it was too obscure to the view down there, and it wasn't right when it was like in slightly bigger lettering because we had to like take the border down more slightly and make the image bigger so we could get the cask a little bit bigger to fit it all onto the cask because originally it was just like 10-year-old Milton Duff Oloroso. But then we had to change it back. The border was slightly bigger and the picture was slightly more, and it was just like, well, does it really make that much difference? Because now it's kind of smaller right in there and it was bigger right in there. When it caught you up, I think
the word is to do with the size of the font, and you can't have like Oloroso can't be bigger than the word whiskey or single malt. It might lead somebody thinking it's sherry and not whiskey and things like that. There's a little word in font size and things like that you can't have or you need to change.
Yeah, it's like I sat and looked at their description of what they want on a label to try and see if I could get it. And they were still like this, it's just, and I suppose in the end of the day, it's all to protect Scotch whisky.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, really. So nobody can copy it or say that they've got something that they don't have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And to be something that's better or elevated or, you've got to go through a certain, to be 5-star, you've got to go through a whole lot of rigmarole to stand out above everybody else that's 4 and 3 stars. So to be Scotch whisky, I guess you've got to go through the same hoops, to stand out as like sort of the birthplace of whiskey. So I do totally get it.
Are you talking like that from experience, Kat? Be 5-star.
Well, I do work for a 5-star visitor attraction.
As bad as Andy.
I wasn't actually thinking about that. I used to be a housekeeper for holiday lets on the West Coast, and we used to have to do ridiculous things to keep the 5-star status. So I wasn't actually thinking about the distillery. I was actually thinking about when I was a housekeeper. I'd forgotten we were 5-star. But yeah, it was like stupid things like you had to have like 80% original paintings on the walls, and you had to have like a set number of coasters, and you had to have like, it's just like stupid little things. You think, really? And then you think, well, yes, because I guess the only way you are better, 5-star is because you've got better shit. So yeah, I guess that's how you just stand out, isn't it? You've got to follow a certain number of rules to be slightly better than everybody else.
My shit's better than yours. Yeah,
pretty much it. Pretty much it. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's been interesting to hear the whole process and to hear it honestly as well, because a lot of people would just be like, maybe kind of gloss over the difficult parts, but you've obviously been very honest about your journey, so I'm sure it's been quite interesting.
Some bits been to hell and back, and just been stressed if it's actually going to do or if everything's just going to disappear and have nothing. It's just it's I won't take it away. If somebody has an easy ride for the first one, then I don't know if they've done it properly.
Yeah.
Because it's not as simple as you think.
What would be one key bit of advice to people that were thinking about doing it? Is there anything that you've just, learned that you think, right, next time for sure we'll definitely do this?
All about researching who you're actually getting the cask from, I think, is one of the biggest tips. And maybe be sure of what you're looking to do.
Okay.
Are you wanting just to keep it for investment and then just give it to somebody as a present and sell it? Are you definitely wanting to bottle it as an independent bottler? Or are you wanting to bottle it as a family gift for like a big 60th birthday or something?
Yeah.
Be sure. I would say probably be sure on the path that you want to go first, because then that will maybe set what you're doing. If you want to do it for a birthday thing, just a private thing for giving, just maybe one of the distilleries, be very safe, secure. Your things there, they'll bottle it under their name, their label, and you'll get to do something nice on it to say, here's a wee strip across our label, say, happy 60th birthday or happy wedding anniversary to somebody, and that keeps you very safe, secure. Independent bottling, I don't know, you could maybe go 2 or 3 ways with that, like we kind of did. It's just a bit experimenting, really. You've got to find your way. You could do a distillery, but then you'd have to have the rigmarole of the legality of taking that distillery's cask away from the distillery to bottle it, to maybe to do your own labels if they won't let you.
Yeah. I guess
So-
how much of the kind of licensing side of things fell on you, or was that the kind of thing that Peter took on and said, we'll bottle under our licensing?
That's the kind of thing that Pete took from us. We talked through it all, and he let me know about it all. But that's the thing that he came in, because he was just starting up, and he was like, "We'll do this." So he goes like, "You've got the cast, you've got this, you're picking out your label design, you're picking what's finished in. I'll help you and go on your side, and we'll bottle it at whatever strength you want to do it at, and I'll help. We'll do out this legal inside with the tax in and everything." So, because Pete is all over that. They were bottling all morning, and then Pete was just wondering about and everything. What's wrong with that? And he's like, there's 2 bottles missing. And he's like, no, there's not. No, there's not. There's nothing. There's nothing missing. There's nothing missing. Everything's done. And he's like, nah, there's 2 bottles missing. I'm sure that stamp's there. There shouldn't be that. He goes, this is this is that, and everybody's like, nah, you're talking rubbish. We've done every single one. This is this. Sure enough, he went in. We're emptying all the cases out again. Sure enough, there was 2 bottles.
2 empty bottles.
That's like how mad and how Pete is. Pete, he is very much on all that.
Yeah.
That side.
And he doesn't see, when you first meet him, he doesn't come across like that, does he? He comes across like I used to. I wrote a blog way back at the start when I had time to write blogs and stuff on Pete and Rich, and I referred to them as like the Pinky and the Brain. Remember the cartoon advert? The cartoon Pinky and the Brain. And Pete was definitely Pinky and Rich was the Brain, but I think they're both a bit of a mix of both those characters. When you first meet Pete, he is absolute like bonkers, like his ideas and stuff. But he backs it up in those. He backs it up with very strict regime of paperwork of what he has to do. And I think it's such the 2 of them. It's such a good blend. We haven't talked about Rich enough tonight, I think, because he is very meticulous as well, very knowledgeable. It's kind of the calm influence on Pete.
Yeah,
I would hate to see if he went on this on his own without somebody like Rich. I would hate to see what trouble he would get himself into.
Well, you see what they did with the absinthe cask.
You say that you cut the liquid. You didn't fancy cask strength. Was that a flavor thing? Was that a quantity thing? Because what was it, 52.2? You bought that.
Yeah, well, somebody got slightly heavy-handed with the water. It should have been 52.6, but I'm not going to grudge them 0.4%.
You got an extra bottle out of it, so you're fine.
Well, actually, that was just so. I measured out 6 grams when I got my sample, my cask strength sample that was coming out to try and figure out what I was going to do with it. Because I was between anything from 50% to cask strength. So I poured out, measured, actually properly measured 6 samples. Used the ABV calculator and how much milliliters of water to that size of measures would take the ABV down to.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat for a whole Sunday afternoon. It was great when it got delivered. I was so excited. The mother-in-law was here, the wife was sitting there, the kids were there, and this box turned up, and I was like, "What's that?" And I just seen a little thing on the back that saying "Lost Loch from Beat" or something. And I was just like, "We've got our samples through to see what we're strength." So I was like, "Right, great." So I just poured the drams out.
I'm away to work.
Different strengths. So poured all the water in, all the different scents, and I just sat there and just constantly just tasted all the different jams, see how I like it, had a bit of water or juice to just fresh, cleanse my palate, went back to it, tried it, and then I looked down and one glass was finished first. And I was like, that one. Because if I naturally was just doing, I think I had the golf on the TV or something as well at the same time. And I think I was just naturally going to one that I liked. And that is basically how I picked that one.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. And how strong, do you remember how strong it was naturally when it got to you?
I think it was only 6-7% worth, about 59%, I think.
Right. So
It's not a big drop, no.
Awesome. But I really enjoy it as that 52. It doesn't feel cut, it doesn't feel watered down. It's still got that really nice oiliness, bit of robustness about it. There's enough spice to make you think, there's a kick here that's cask strength, it's there, but it's not that kind of really hot, fiery spirit, I think it's you've done yourself proud with it. It's such a nice
I'm moving on to now. And it's like one thing I have to say, like with it, I don't know if you do have a bottle of it, be prepared for that dram to be a lot different to that dram.
Okay.
You'll get the same nose, you probably will get the same sort of similar dryness finish, but that palate in between tweaks.
Mm-hmm.
And it tweaks like quite differently throughout that bottle. It's a very changeable dram. It kind of keeps you going a little bit.
That's good though, because it means it's one that you're not going to just sort of sip and forget. So there's obviously quite a lot going on there, quite complex. Milton Duff's not one that I've played around with very much, so I'll need to come in and the shop.
For the age of the 10-year-old, the complexity is quite good. I think that 14 months, and obviously it wasn't a very wet first fill Oloroso. It must have been maybe an Oloroso cask sitting around for a while, dried out a little bit maybe, because it's not very heavy first fill Oloroso. I think it's quite good because I just reminded me of that there when I went back to the nose, and I got that Milton Duff grassiness from it again that I haven't had for a wee while. Just poked back in there.
What I noticed as well, when I had the sample bottle that you guys took to us, I can't remember if you delivered this or if Pete gave it to me to try, because we discussed it a few times tonight. When it's something new and people maybe not heard of it, getting liquid on the lips is key.
Mm-hmm.
But even pouring it from this bottle to pouring it from the 70cl bottle, there's a little bit of a change in there. There's a little bit, whether it's the oxygen in the bottle, because I did my tasting notes on it from this, and then when I opened it, the 70cl, we had it for a couple of tastes to kind of push it, and it was far better in the 70 than I got from this. And I went back in and I readjusted the tasting notes on the website to say, a bit more clove, a bit more spice, but spices and depth for me rather than pepper.
Yeah.
Sometimes spices, and rather than kind of coming up, it kind of helps go down, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A little bit of depth to the flavour, and it was much more creamy. It was much more.
Yeah, there's been a few that have been like it's a baker's in a bottle.
Yeah,
I've had that
yeah.
comment.
I think somebody, it might have been Andy, said something like a pastry, like a freshly baked pastry.
Yeah, I think Carrie Ann, the malt maiden, she was like, "Oh, it's like a bakery in a bottle." She's like, "It's with a bit of fruit."
That's right. I saw her reviewing it actually. That was a little while ago.
Yeah.
But these were all notes I didn't get from the sample bottle I got. This one I poured from the 70cl for tonight.
Yeah.
That's not the original, but the original sample bottle that we got, the wee bottle, is completely different. And I thought that was bizarre, just how different it is.
How it is. That's and my original notes come from that day of me writing down notes on every single one of them 6 drams. I had a little bit of, well, I've actually got, I printed out the Edinburgh Whisky Academy like note things. So I had one for each of them, and I just kept, every time I was smelling and tasting, I kept writing something down that came into my head. Or I was just watching something, I just kept writing, and then I just kind of went through it and picked like all the ones that maybe were kind of similar on everything. And I was like, right, that's like a togetherness of this dram, and then I poured one more of that strength, and then that's what it gave me. But then we come to doing bottlism, then come later down the line, I went back to it and I was like, that's changed again.
Yeah.
In Aberdeen Whisky Shop, we're very sly. Then I missed the blinding, I missed the tasting thing a month or so ago, and they snuck my bottle into it.
So did you pick it out?
I had a feeling from the beginning that they were going to do it, and it was going to be in there. I was going to pour my dram that night and have it there, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that because I'll taste them as these are just all blind drams. The nose was very similar. I knew it from the nose and the finish. That drying finish that this Milton Duff gives you, that I quite like. Reminds me a bit like some of your Aberfeldies, that wee drying kind of ness that you get from it. But the palate was so different to what I was drinking from mine at the time that I was like, that palate's off, but the nose and the finish are the same. Like I just don't know about it. And I was like, I know what's coming. I know it's coming. I'm like, yeah. And you're like, how do you feel about that draft? I was like, love the nose, brilliant. I love the nose of that. It reminds me of stuff. The finish, that is a finish that I quite like. And he goes, but the palate's very indifferent. It's getting me. Like it's just, I think because I was probably had it in my head, at the back of my head, that's mine. But the palate was so different. I was just like, I'm not going to be that person that goes, that's mine. And then they pull out something out of the blue. It's completely different.
Yeah, 30-year-old Boona having or something.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean. So I was just like, and I could have poured my dram next to it, and I probably would have been able to.
But again, I think you depend. I'm not sure what Aberdeen send there the samples. I mean, when you put something in a little, if it's glass or if it's a different grade of glass or it's plastic, I'm sure depending on how long it's in there, will transfer. I don't know how. We've made up a mystery tasting pack for next Friday, which we're doing virtually. It's all distillery exclusives. It's a blind pack.
You've got the little game cards with it, don't you?
Sorry?
You've got the game cards and that with it, don't you?
Yeah. So just a bit of fun. And then we'll discuss the drams. So we'll have a bit of fun to start with where people can taste it, try it, guess. So it's going to be like there's 3 of these are sherry casks, 2 of them are bourbon casks, and one's a wine cask. Which one do you think is which? In here, there's a X age, a Y age, a Z age. Which one do you think is which? And then we're going to play on that. So everyone's going to have the answers in front of them. All they're going to have to do is pick which one fits which box.
Like which one they think it is. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that'll be fun. Yeah, Andy's asking if we have any of those left. We do. So yeah, it's purely virtual. It's on a Friday night, next Friday. So, but yeah, I like virtual. I like mystery dram kits, and I like doing it blind because it really gets you thinking. It gets you into it. I'm always worried about doing them myself. I don't mind hosting it because I know the answers. See, when you're doing the on the other side of it, it's tough.
Yeah, I quite like being on the other side of it. It's quite good just to feel just see something different. You're not quite sure, and you just get to play, to think what it is. And quite often, do you like it? Do you not?
The most important taste to know in the world.
That's it. Do you like it or don't you? Have fun with it, taste it, experience it. You don't know what it is, you don't know who it is, but do you like it? Because if you like it, you don't know what it is. It could be something that you never ever thought about buying, and you think, or you turned your nose up at it at some point. Or some people might have turned their nose up at it, I'm not going to buy that. And then they have it on a blind tasting and be like, actually, I'm going to try that.
We did one during lockdown, and we threw in the Adelphi Dancing Man blend. But the jam before that was Macallan Rare Cask. And there was a lot of people like, oh, these are two very similar whiskies. In terms of value, could be poles apart. We had a Springbank 10 in there. Everyone got the Springbank 10. We threw that at the end just to see if people would get it, but everyone got that. Pretty unique flavour.
Yeah, that Campbelltown funk, you can kind of tell, especially from that Springbank 10. I think that's probably one of the better Springbanks. If I was going to buy a Springbank, I think I would get the 10.
Yeah.
The rest of them don't really overly. Have you had your 12 cask strength actually?
No, because you were just talking about it. I just realised I've forgotten to open it actually, but I will open it.
You had it in your hand. It was Kat has a thing about opening bottles live. She just can't do it. She gets the fear.
Yeah, it's happened a few times.
I don't know how I get it wrong every single bloody time I try and do it. I prefer
She
Springbank.
hasn't poured it yet, but she's been trying since she took the bottle down. She's been trying to open it up.
It's happened. I was going to say 2 times. 3 times. It's only happened 3 times that I couldn't get into a bottle live on air.
How many bottles have you opened live on air?
Do you know, because I don't actually drink a lot of them, so a lot of times I'm getting a bottle down, I'm just opening it for the first time. So I usually try and open it before we go live though, so that I don't make an absolute tit of myself in front of everybody. But there you go, I got into that one.
Good pop.
It is a good pop. There's nothing nicer than that sound.
Davis Muir's asking if you've still got time to order one of them packs and receive it before it starts, Mike.
For David, I would drive it to his door. Just for an excuse to go down to Campbelltown, not because I like him or anything. It's purely because I want to go down to Campbelltown. I'm joking, David. Yes, we do last for any mystery packs. We do kind of last orders on the Monday, Tuesday, and then if you want to order on the Wednesday, we do express shipping, but we'll try and get it. Oh, let's see, Fort William. Oh well, I'm not going to drive to Fort William. No, it's Fort William address.
I'll drive to Fort William. I love Fort William.
I'll go Fort William. Send it down to me, Mike. I'll drive 2 hours to Fort William up the 18th through Glencoe. I'll drop it off at his, and then I'll go and see Hazel at Ben Nevis. I'm going to have another little tour.
I've never been to Ben Nevis. I want to go and have a look at there. I've driven past it so many times, driving from the west back up to here, but never stopped and passed.
It's good, and I think they're when I was last there, Hazel was saying they're changing it a bit. They're putting in a bottling plant. They're getting bits to try and hold more of their stock so it doesn't all get taken away. They're looking at having like a open wall bit so you can look in more to like the warehouses while you're going through the production area. So they have an open wall so you can see or a glass kind of wall to see the bottling and warehouse kind of areas at the same time while you're walking through and stuff. So I think there's some plans to get everything moving a bit better and make the visitors' attractions a bit bigger. Because obviously they're owned by Nikita, and they're getting absolutely hammered from tourists from over there. Going to visit them and buying. They're buying everything. Last time I was at, I think you could only get the 10-year-old. Everything else was completely sold out. They just
Wow.
absolutely wiped it clean, and that was, I think we went up in October holidays, and everything else was wiped out.
Gosh.
I was lucky that I spoke to Hazel a few times beforehand, that she knew I was coming, and then she'd saved some samples for me to take away with me.
There you go.
It's something I'm surprised they didn't do more of or push more was the visitor side, because the tourism factor up there is phenomenal.
Sorry,
But
I've
Phil-
zoned out because I was drinking whiskey. That's lovely.
Yeah. Is it good? You enjoying it?
It is. It's quite sweet. And you wouldn't, it's like, what is it, 57? But it doesn't feel like 57. But it's got like it's quite fruity, but it's got like a nice kind of mustiness to it as well. That could just be the end of my cold. That's lovely.
It did absolutely nothing for me.
Really?
But maybe that could have been how far down the bottle was from being in the bar.
It could be. It's not like super. I like the 10. It's not super exciting, but it's nice. Like it's. Give us your tasting notes, guys. Jeez, put me on the spot, David. Oh I don't know. I'm not very good at tasting notes straight away. I have to come back to it. Do you know, I get my best tasting notes when the glass is empty and you go back and smell it afterwards. If I'm ever doing tasting notes, I'll like write down stuff straight away and then I kind of leave it for a while, come back, and then I usually get better ones after I've kind of just sitting with my glass later on.
So when you finish that last dram for the night, you put it down and you go away and make your cup of tea and that, and then you put everything away and you put the glass in the dishwasher and you just go, whoa, oh, that's lovely.
Exactly it. That's the way I do it anyway. But and I don't have a dishwasher. I make my kids wash my stuff. But yeah, no, I think I probably prefer Glen Scotia. I probably drunk more Glen Scotia. I haven't drunk a lot of Springbank, and I usually like the 10 better. But it is nice. It's quite enjoying it.
How do you find, Kat, that as cool and retro as your glasses are? Try to get a tasting notes out of a glass that's quite wide rim compared to a glass that's quite narrow.
I know. I am thinking this about it actually. To be honest, I don't think you get the same impact with a big white glass like that. So I probably wouldn't usually use that, but I quite like showing it off tonight because obviously they're vintage Glengarry glasses. But I do think you're better off with like a Cocktail or a Glencairn one, to be honest. I mean, I could get my whole nose, my whole face in there if I wanted to, but
you could go for a swim in that if you wanted to.
But yeah, no, I do think well, I haven't got quite a fancy Glencairn as yours, Mike, with your little wee fluted.
It's just I just love the stem of it.
It's very pretty, very very pretty.
There you go. There's one of the random questions for the Blether night. If you could swim in any whiskey, what whiskey would you swim in?
The most buoyant one.
So that'd be a coastal one with a bit of salt in it.
Yeah, I have to do cast the oils to keep me afloat. Yeah.
Yeah, I want a really oily, briny one.
Just how big is the pool? Am I going to drown in it? What would I like to drown in? Campbelltown Loch, of course, says Callum. Like it, Callum. Good answer. Quick answer. You can tell the Campbelltown guys. David's just come up with the same answer. Campbelltown Loch.
To be fair to them, like if you don't want the hype with the Springbank and everything going there, and don't want to pay the prices if you can't get it, the Campbelltown Loch's a great wee dram to get up to the price point. A great wee.
There are lots of variants from batch to batch as well.
Yeah, lots of variants. A good wee teaspoon dram.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what I would swim in because it wouldn't be anything peaty. I think I would be looking at something Glen Allachie, Glen Cadam, something like that. I just feel something a little bit safer. I guess
you can have the angel and devil here then. So there's your safer one. What would be your hell one for going to the fire and the peat?
Tell you, one of my favourite peated drams at the moment is Torraveg. I think
which one?
The Auchlossan cask strength is picking
Yeah,
it for me. I haven't had a lot. We went to the distillery 2 years ago and they took out some cask samples for us, which were phenomenal. But of the releases, the Auchlossan cask strength, I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I like the Croc Moine as well. I think
I don't have very much of that one left. I don't know if
we did tasting
me and him were waiting on the buttons for when the Torraveg Auchlossan came out, and we had a couple of drams when it came out in my house, and we thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. We did a tasting of it with Stuart Dick, who's their brand ambassador, came to the shop, and we did the three Aucklands, and then we did 3 of the Mossburn. And the consensus in the room was that just that extra depth of flavour, the PX cask, was it PX cask I think is in it, but it's only like 8% PX cask.
Right.
The difference is quite remarkable on the overall flavour, but for me the cask strength won over. That was
I really like a Torraveg. I think it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very. I think it's quite overlooked, to be fair.
It's one, and I've said this many times. To me, I always forget it as a new distillery because it doesn't have that persona of a new distillery. I think the style of the bottle, the labeling, the branding, it feels like it's been around forever. So you forget about it as a new distillery, and the taste as well it's got a kind of vintage, musky kind of old school whiskey style to it. I think they've done a phenomenal job.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right, Kev. It did give you goosebumps. You were sitting there like that in my house, pretty much just across when I was like that, and his hairs were standing up. He's like, "I've just got goosebumps from that."
Whiskey goosebumps. I think you need to go back and retry the Springbank 12 cask strength. It's actually really quite nice.
Yeah,
it's got like these big kind of like bramble kind of flavors. It's like really thick on the palate. I think you need to give it another try. And you can I'll take you a sample next time I see you.
Okay. I'll go back and try that. Yeah. I'll have to do that. It didn't hit me. I don't know if it's because what did I have before it? I had the Tomatin 14 port.
Maybe you didn't have any coffee beans. You should have a pocket full of coffee beans with you.
It's a good try. I don't know how that would work walking around Glasgow with a pocket full of coffee beans in the pocket and just put a wee bag with coffee beans in it.
They're not selling in the bars in Glasgow.
Do you know, I've seen weirder things in Glasgow. I think
I'd be quite all right if I was back in a boy, you know what I mean? Just, no fucker there, so nobody sees you anyway.
It's either the hottest or the coldest part in the world in Scotland, isn't it? Every
it
year.
is. Yeah, that's true. Actually, they should have a big picture there, just so that people can take their picture next to it on the hottest day and the coldest day of the year.
Rick Johnson said he would swim in the Ardbeg Ugadal, which would be that's a cool question because there's so many water featured whiskies out there, isn't there?
Well, the Corrie Vrecken as well, because Corrie Vrecken's named after this. I think it's the second biggest whirlpool in Europe. Because I used to live next to Corrie Vrecken.
Yeah.
So that would be like your whiskies.
Macquarie, Lochgorm.
Loch Gorm, yeah.
That's true.
Oban, Little Bay, Auchlossan. Yeah.
Very nice.
We would have got there. We would have got round to that.
You can go and drown in it now, but I don't know how much water. Actually, has it been raining up there very recently? Because it's still actually, that's why if you ever drive past Lost Loch Distillery after the big heavy rain and you see them fields on your left are just flooded all the time, that's because that's where the natural loch used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you're either going to get water or cows, one of the two.
Yeah. It's only lost for about 3 days in Scotland a year.
True. Very true.
I don't know what would be a worse death, drowning or just being squashed by lots of cows. I don't know. Go for cows, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, just an aside. We were talking about drowning in water, and you're thinking like it's either water or cows, but I don't know. We have to keep thinking about swimming now.
Yeah, you can't really outrun a cow unless you can like run over 30 miles an hour because they're surprisingly very fast.
Oh, I know. I've been.
All you need is a cattle grid. If you can run over a cattle grid, you're sorted.
True.
Well, that is true. I've seen a cow getting all four legs stuck in a cattle grid before, but lifted out with a loader and a ratchet strap, like a yeah. Cows
I don't know
tend-
why I'm laughing. It's a shame on the cow, but
she was fine. She was fine, but I don't know what she was thinking when she decided to go to do it. But yeah, all four legs just stuck. I also once saw a tup with a feed bucket stuck on his head, and he was running across the field, and all the other tups were chasing him because they thought they were getting fed. So I had to catch him and get the bucket off his head. You see it all in farming.
Oh yes. Oh, the country life.
oh, that's brilliant. The things you see when you don't have a phone camera to record it.
Oh, I know. Well, at the time, it's funny, but you still have to like try and catch him and get the bucket off. But afterwards, you think that was actually it's actually very, very funny. 36 miles an hour for a cow, but not in a straight line. I've never tried to make a cow run in a straight line. I guess so. If you kind of weave around, you'll definitely beat a cow. Then is what we're going with.
I know, because a cow can't run in a straight line, Dave said. So if you run in a straight line, then you'll beat it. Because how does a cow run then?
Now you need to make sure you don't get confused with alligators and cows, because alligators can like run straight but they can't zigzag, and cows can't run straight but they zigzag. So
do you know the amount of times I've been confused by those two because they're remarkably similar?
Must be pretty fucked if you're in Australia.
Did you know cows?
You know, it gets to a certain point at night when we just start speaking absolute and utter shit. A cow hears left.
A bit like a foxhole then.
I mean, you should be a cow.
You know that
label. Yeah, we're finding out some interesting facts tonight. I feel like I should have known that about cows, but I suppose when I'm running away from a cow, I'm never looking behind me. I'm just running. That time's usually 7 o'clock when we start. We've actually been very sensible tonight. So I think we've been quite on it until about an hour ago, and it's just descended into nonsense.
Dave knows because he used to be a cow in a previous life. And now he drives a Vauxhall.
Well, I'm gonna have to look out for that next time I see a cow running to see if it's zigzagging.
I've seen cows run. I did a lot of hill walking in a previous years and cross field. And I remember crossing one field, and it wasn't like a major walk. We walked from Inverurie up Penahee and back, and we took a shortcut through a field. All these cows. It wasn't one cow, it was like a herd of them started running towards us. Shit. Because I've never been chased by cows before. How dangerous can they be?
Oh.
And as they get closer, you realize they're not dangerous, but the size of them. You're like, okay, we're going to have to run now. We legged it out of the field. But I didn't stop to think if I run zigzag or what way are they running. I never thought of that. Never crossed my mind.
They can be pretty scary. I've had a cow like literally climbing up on the front of the quad bike just to try and get me because I was holding her calf because we were turning out cows and calves. And she was just being an absolute arse anyway. But we were trying to get her to come with us and she wouldn't. So I had her calf and I was driving the quad bike and she figured it out and she literally turned around and just climbed up the front of the quad bike to get this calf. It was bloody terrifying. Cows scare me. But yeah, hardcore. Tastes good, but yeah.
Wait, bring it back down to the farmer's life, eh? Mother was protecting her calf, so we ate her.
I mean, we were going to give the calf back. We were just putting them out onto grass. We were doing a nice thing, but she was not for it. Another time I got chased by cows, I was trying to tip a bag of feed out for them, but I had to try and get it over the wall, and I'm quite short. I don't know if you've noticed. So I put the bag up on the wall to try and climb over. And when I came down the other side, the whole bag just like tipped down the front of my boiler suit. But because the cows had heard the bag, they'd all come running up. So they were just flocking around about me, like trying to eat me. I'd just become like a sort of cattle feed popsicle. And it was terrifying. But
You were the Hessian.
there are a lot of bad cow experiences. I much prefer sheep. Anyway.
What? You much prefer sheep?
Oh, any day. Give me sheep any day, especially blackies because they've got handles. You can literally direct them anywhere you want to go.
Fair enough, but they don't do what they tell you, and they've got a stinking maggot arse.
Only if you're not looking after them properly.
True. Well, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Although there's nothing worse when you're doing the wool, if you're shearing and you're rolling the wool and somebody shouts maggots and you know fine that the next fleece coming is like full of maggots. Oh, that's horrible.
Mm.
Anyway, they also taste nice as well. Sheep, not maggots. I've never eaten maggots.
I mean, if you're a bird, maggots taste nice.
Yeah, I guess so. I've never asked one, but I assume so. Anyway, that's all my knowledge about livestock for you. It's all my stories.
Well, yeah, so he's just left us now, Cat. He's walking. Don't know, he's
You've got better lighting than I do. You've got a nice sideboard and better lighting. I think you should just do the bloody Blether and I should just watch.
He's got better hair than you as well, Cat, to be honest.
Oh, I'm not having that at all. Oh, the UK's deadliest animal is a cow.
Yeah.
I would believe that, to be honest. 3,000 to 4,000 people a year. Wow.
That's because people are stupid.
Yeah, and they just like, oh, I'm going to take my dog for a walk through this field. Oh my God, they're all chasing me. How weird.
Mm. Mm.
They attack. I mean, they're pretty. They're not that deadly, to be honest. They only kill like 1% of
the people they chase.
attack. Yeah. You know, I'm not sure about deadly. They're brutal, maybe, but it's just like getting a slap in the face by a cow. Really, chances of dying from a cow attack is 1%.
I don't know. I've seen some pretty bad injuries with cows. Like I know people have been knocked out by them because like their heads are solid. Mm-hmm. They don't. You're right. They don't eat you. It's a good point. It's the one saving grace. Once they've squashed you and pulverized you with
unless you pour food down your boiler suit and go grassing yourself, then no, they won't.
That's a very good point. Do you know what the UK's biggest carnivore is? It's a seal. Like it doesn't seem so scary when you know that. Imagine just being like mauled to death by a seal. It
sounds horrific.
It does a bit actually because they look so friendly. You just
would they make that noise as they were eating you? Because that would make it even more torturous.
They do look like a Labrador of the sea with no ears, but yeah, I wouldn't want to test them out.
No, you wouldn't want to cuddle one.
The UK's biggest carnivore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like natural carnivore then.
Do you say natural carnivore?
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to an unnatural carnivore.
Well, like a polar bear in Edinburgh Zoo.
Oh, right. Yes. No, I see what you mean. Not like an animal being force-fed people.
Yeah, originally a bear probably would have been when it was in Scotland, or a wolf.
Yeah. But yeah, now it's seals. So there you go. Watch yourself in the water. Look out, people. Don't jump in the sea if you're being chased by cows. It'll just get worse.
Orcas off Peterhead just the other day. They must be bigger than
Fraser, yeah. Well, yes, but they're not always here. So I think like they just.
I don't know about that. They're always around Stormzy. They're always around the West Coast. They're always around Peterhead. There is a pod that localizes from Scotland to Iceland.
Well, I guess when they're here, they become the UK's biggest predator. But like 80% of the time, it's a seal. Give the seals their moment. Orcas are pretty scary, but I'd love to see them. I'd absolutely love to see them. It'd be awesome to. And then they were just at Fraser the other day. How awesome is that?
And pretty close as well.
Facebook
Facebook.
captain turn. Oh, it turned carnivore into photographer. The UK's biggest photographer is a seal.
We're not talking about the musician again. I almost got myself in trouble the last time.
I need to watch back the Blethers and see what some of the automatic captions were, because I used to love watching it when it was you and Russell, and see like some of the random things that would. Because Russell was always Oloroso was always Ola Russell, wasn't it?
When we had Ewan on from Dornoch Distillery, there was like 50 different distilleries he worked for. If you read the subtitles, brilliant.
I know, it's mental.
That's definitely somewhere, Mike. You need to explore some of the Dornoch and Thompson Brothers stuff if you haven't, because they have got
I need to get
some of their stuff is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think I spent ages last year at Glasgow Whisky Festival. They're all speaking to them. I think I went through about 10 drams at their stall, and then they pulled out a 48-year-old Cambridge bridge from underneath the table for us to try. It was, they've got some really, really good stuff that's worth a go. That's good value for it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I know.
Yeah, I'm excited to get in, because we're finding a few of the distillers or the indie bottlers when at the peak or when they kind of started launching, whiskey was really on the ramp up, and you saw online sales were going mental. And they if you weren't in their sphere, then you didn't get in because they had to be committed to the guys that they had, small band. We've seen a few of them are just opening that door a little bit to new retailers to get into. So yeah, they're definitely on my radar to speak to. I imagine guys will be getting ready for the Aqua Vitae as well. So
I know. I think we're going to start losing some people soon.
Phil, it's been a great chat. It's been great to know not just the story about your whiskey, but about yourself as well. What drives you, what your passions are. Thank you for giving up your Thursday night to come along and have a chat. I never thought I'd be sitting online talking about cows for 10 minutes. Well,
it is actually fitting, so
Here's a quick: would you rather be chased by a herd of the normal meat cows, or a herd of one Highland cow? There you go.
One Highland cow, because you can just turn down to a big shaggy coo and be like, "Come here," and just tickle its chin or something, and guarantee it'll give you a cuddle. They're good.
I don't think they know they're big and cuddly. I don't think
they know. Come on, here, man, come here. You'll be fine. I'm not saying that nobody go out now and try that right now. Just in case, I do not endorse it, and I'm not covering your assurance.
Do you know, I was up at Meldrum House a little while ago, and there was a woman. She was obviously she had a photographer with her, and it was obviously like a sort of influencer or something. And they've got Highland cattle there, so she was obviously wanting them in the photograph, and she was like, "Come on, come here!" And she was shouting this cow to come across. Of course, this cow is not listening to her at all. So I was laughing away at her. And then Meldrum House have recently released it on their Instagram, and it's this really famous influencer, and the video she's put together is absolutely stunning. But all I can think about is her shouting, come here, get that one to come over.
You get that cow. She didn't have the McVitie's digestives. You see, that's the problem.
That's what the problem was, yeah. But no, it's been a very educational chat. I feel like we've learned a lot about you, Phil, as a person, maybe more than we needed to. No. But no, it's been really, really good fun.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Great honour and much appreciated to be on. So thank you very much for having me.
No problem.
It's been absolute chat. I'd love you to stay behind just when we say cheerio to everyone.
Yes.
Just so we can thank you again personally offline. Some great comments coming in. David Muir wants more of the same. Callum's got a great reply. David, stop milking it.
This one's
it's all right, David. Just get on, and then you can have some more if you want.
Nicely done.
Absolutely. We'll pop it in your basket for tomorrow, David. Give us a phone. We'll sort you out.
Chris Greaves, cheers for joining, mate. Good to see you. Shame we can't meet up next week.
Chris has been on the Blether before a few times, I think. Is he one of your whiskey? Yeah. Rick, thank you for another great Blether. Mike and Kat, the cow Blether was fantastic. Phil was a guest.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everybody that joined the chat to come and watch. For somebody that you really don't know, or is just nobody, and somebody just trying to do something different.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad you came on, and people can find you at Whisky Teuchter. It's Teuchter. Find them on Instagram, and find out. Phil, I'd love to offer to the guys to follow you and ask you questions about your experience if they're the same. Is that all right?
No problem. If they want to do it, send me a message. I'll answer. You know what I mean? I'm easy. I'm happy. Just let me know that you've seen this chat or something, so I don't think you're some sort of cyborg from the Middle East trying to steal all my money or something.
I mean, if they want to buy a cask off you, you've got one sitting. So that would be all right.
That's very true. Yeah, good shout, actually. Fuck.
Awesome. Great stuff. Donna Pass, good evening. Thanks for joining us. We're just Centurio, but I'll catch up with you on the I believe Jeff is hosting the Aquavite tonight. So I'll jump on there and say hello to you guys. Kat, next week, our guest is
a mystery. It's a secret.
I love mystery guest.
I'm sorry, I am failing this July. I've had a couple of cancellations and changes, but I think it's just because people are on holiday and stuff, which I totally understand. So I'm going to try and do something about that and get somebody on. And then it'll be our penultimate week because we'll be stopping the week after. We've got our last guest on the 1st of August, and then we're going to have a little summer break. But
so our 1st of August is the Whiskey Witches.
Yep. We've got them.
Cool. I think they're coming to us live the day before they start their fringe run.
Literally, they've squeezed us in because they obviously had to change their plans when we were meant to have them on before. So they've squeezed us in like the night before their Whiskey Fringe, which is awesome of them. So I'm really excited about that. But to be next week.
So we have the 1st of August. David Muir's offered himself as a guest.
Awesome. Maybe we should do a meet the audience next week and get everybody on.
I think chasing audience figures, says Callum for David. We'll see. I'm not adverse to that idea. I think Dave Muir could be a fun guest. I don't know about his whiskey knowledge. His navigational knowledge is terrible, but he does have some good whiskies. So
he does. Well, I'll pencil that.
He could do a blind tasting and send out samples to everybody to do a blind tasting.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great idea. So guys, private message David with your address. He will send you lots of whiskey. Please don't do that. But thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, Phil. It's been great fun. And just that insight into how you went about doing what you did. And I love that passion turning into a bottle, turning into something that people potentially around the world can enjoy. It's fantastic. Yeah,
it's just something that a whiskey drinker dreams of. And basically I am a whiskey drinker. I like to enjoy and drink a whiskey. And it's just something that I hope people will enjoy too. If they don't, fair enough. You know what I mean? You can't like everything in life. So it's fine, but it's always worth a try, and it's great. But thank you very much for having me on. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Phil. Kat, I'm treading water as long as I can here, but you've got the controls to stop the live, so I'm going to put back to you. You got that, didn't you?
I told you to remind me. Like, you could have given me like a nod or a private chat or a message or something. Yeah, right, guys, we're tuning out. Bye. Thanks, guys. Yeah.